Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. This is a SMZ3 randomizer match between Alucard2004 and etium. Hopefully, everybody's excited for a good race. I'm joined on the mic here by HK112. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Good to hear. Hopefully, everybody's excited for this match. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to for this one, HK?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Twitch doesn't go down again. That would be kind of disappointing. But I'm looking forward to a good race between these runners. I mean, I race and Edim, I've seen him race off and on when I get on my computer and do random stuff, but and they're both terrific runners.
Yeah, absolutely. I know both have been heavily involved with Link to the Past Randomizer. I've done races with both of them in that. They're both involved in some of the SpeedGaming daily or weekly races they've been a part of and other events. I'm not too familiar with etium's experience with Super Metroid, but obviously he's more than capable. He was able to win a match to get to this point. Both runners are 1-0 in groups, so the winner here does get to advance into the bracket stage, and the loser has one more chance to defend themselves and try to make it in as well.
Yep. Looks like they're about to get off and whatnot. Oh, I'm hoping we don't have any last minute checks. I've watched and commentated a few races that items out of the blue looking for instance, when I got back into commentating, Azir when I was co-commentating with Tracy, looking for a bow and GT, and they're off. And then the race before that was, I can't remember. So many items, so many locations.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes.
I was like, all right, they're off. And now Alu might, I don't know, or if they'll go down to Brimstar or go straight into the Link to the Past.
Yeah, I'm not sure. For some runners, that's a matchup dependent strategy, but the two checks are a little out of the way in Super Metroid. But if you don't check them now, it's going to be quite a while to get back to them. So some runners do opt to do those first. Looks like both runners do choose to do a safer, more common strat, go straight to Link to the Past.
Did I just see some boots on that island?
Yep, looks like those are boots.
Now, if desert's required, ooh, our first sword and sanctuary.
Okay, that's real handy. And the power bombs are nice too in Link's house. That way, whenever runners do get Morph Ball, they have at least one pack. That's pretty important to have early.
And we got a red crystal in Eastern, a regular crystal in Hera, and a pendant for Desert.
Okay, so those boots might not be required for Desert since it's not a crystal. Obviously, both runners are still going to very much want those boots.
Oh yeah, you got to go fast. Got to take a page out of Sonic's book.
Yeah, but before they get those boots, they'll need Dark World access, including, at the very least, the Moon Pearl, flippers, and a mirror. So it'll be quite a while till we see them.
Looks like Edim is setting up for Houlihan for some money, so he can buy the bottle vendor and other random nonsense at Kakariko.
Yeah, it's a good idea to get as much money as you can. Get money and bombs on your way to Kakariko. Alucard choosing to do check the tier 3 tree pull in front of Uncle, and he's probably going to check some tree pulls and the bush crab prizes to see if he can get rupees this way. etium's going with the a little less risky, but inherently slower strat of just getting all the rupees you need from Houlihan. Both good strategies. Both have their opportunities where they pay out. And etium's also getting these 50-50 bomb bushes down here, so he'll have at least one bomb.
Alu's taking the risky play going to Lumberjack, which I would go to Lumberjack because it's a good check to see where Alu is, or where Aga is in this seed, if it's required or not.
Yeah, it's good to get information early. With how long these races can be, just knowing information early is always helpful. Unfortunately, the bush crab only has single rupees. The tier 3 and tier 1 tree pulls aren't valuable either, so.
And it just missiles on Aga. Ooh, that is a morph ball on the race game.
Well, okay, so things are opening up already. We do have one super missile pack, at least one missile pack, and one power bomb pack, which are the big items you need to get most of your Super Metroid checks. Wow, tier 2 tree pull isn't valuable either. So this is a little rough for Alucard going into Kakariko without having all this money that etium has with that Houlihan play.
Yeah. And etium can buy bombs on his way up, so he's not going to be starving for bombs at all. Alu's getting a lot of ammo, though, for Super Metroid.
Yeah, etium will invariably get all this ammo as well on his way up through here.
That's an ice rod.
Well, that's good to know.
So those boots may be required.
Yeah, if it's good to know, because if Turtle Rock's a pendant, you might just get to leave it there. But if Turtle Rock's a crystal, you know you need it, and you know where to get it. You don't have to do the infamous ice rods on it. Yeah, meanwhile, we see Silvers in the drop down in Lost Woods. That's really handy once they get a bow. This SMZ3 doesn't have progressive bow like the standalone Link to the Past randomizer, so they don't do anything yet, but it'll be really helpful once the bow is obtained.
Let's see here, we're going into Blind's hut and the chicken coop.
Yeah, and hopefully Alucard, he's hoping to get bailed out here by finding bombs to not have to walk out and back into Blind's hut. It's just really unfortunate the way his rupees worked out.
He got missiles. He got some missiles and super. Ooh, a mirror. He could just blow open that door. You know?
I wish it was that easy.
I mean,
too bad.
And he has power bombs. That's a better bomb, isn't it?
That's true, but he doesn't have the morph ball to lay the power bombs since he came from the north.
Touché.
Yeah, at least he'll get enough rupees here in the bottom of the well to be able to buy bombs. It's just going to make his clear of Kakariko a little slower than etium's here. So etium's going to have a few seconds, maybe a minute lead early on.
Hey, there's bombs. He got bailed out.
Yeah, it still has to go back to Blind's hut, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, it's still a bailout.
Yeah, not as bad as walking back across Kakariko. You're absolutely right.
I mean, I would say they're about, like, really close on how things are, you know. Like, Alu's already done Blind's hut. He still has to do Blind's hut. The other, etium. I am butchering this poor guy's name, and I feel so bad.
I believe it's etium.
Etium. But it looks like, I mean, only slight differences. But
yeah, it's still very early. The biggest divergence we'll see is probably when these two runners opt to go into Super Metroid. They have a lot of these Sphere 1 Link to the Past checks still to do. What do you think we'll see as far as that goes, HK? Do you think one of the runners will decide to opt in pretty early into Super Metroid before full clearing of Sphere 1?
Let's see. We got, with what they got, they can finish up the South Shore checks and, you know, the dam and everything across that, and Ice Rock Cave if they choose to do it. But Alucard's gonna probably see that morph ball and probably go straight to Super Metroid.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I definitely don't think he'll go straight there. I think he might lean into it a little bit earlier than etium will, but I still suspect with the sword, like you mentioned, makes Mini Moldorm Cave nice and easy to clear out. Nice guard back moonwalking through the bushes there. That's pretty funny on etium's side. But yeah, I imagine he'll at least get all the big clusters cleared out, probably do front of escape, and with the sword he could actually not have nearly as much trouble getting through the dark rooms to the back. It's a really good guide in the darkness, that sword sparkle. So we might see that play from one or both of our runners. Yeah, I think that both of them are going to try to get another power bomb pack, if nothing else. Only 5 power bombs is pretty rough for routing Super Metroid early on.
Yeah, it is. Now, etium has a advantage over Alucard right now. He has the sword going into Hyrule Castle. So he could do escape if he chose to, and he probably will.
Yeah, since he's here doing Uncle, he's definitely going to do the front. I don't know if he'll go ahead and go through the back. We'll see if he chooses to do that without a light source. It might depend on where the key layout is. If he gets the key from the first chest, he might opt to go through the whole thing. Death Warp after the ball and chain guard. But you're right. If Alucard wants to do these front of escape checks early, he's going to have to walk back here. And he's already walked up here to get to Uncle, so it's just going to be a little bit less efficient. I imagine since Alu has been here to, at least to the Uncle checks, he's going to do South Shore first before coming back to Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
And he did skip the bottle vendor checks, didn't he? I don't believe he got enough rupees for that, so that's gonna...
No. That's gonna help him out a lot.
Oh, that's right, and I'm being corrected in chat that the runners do have the mirror already, so they mirror out of the front of escapes. That definitely makes the Dark Cross and the back, even though it's out of logic, 3 hearts is still a little rough. Things can go wrong looking for that key rat, but it makes it a lot more appealing.
And now we're getting our look at the dam.
We did get a hammer here in the front of escape as well, so that's really nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
And unless I missed one, that was the second power bomb pack, so 10 is a good starting number to have for Super Metroid as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which etium will for sure get probably right after he does escape here. He might opt to do Eastern or Sahasrahla first.
And only some missiles in Zelda's cage. Oh boy.
Alright, so we are going to see some dark rooms, or rather not see the rooms, but hopefully see whatever he gets from them. Keep in mind that if he opens the chest in Dark Cross here, and it's a Super Metroid item for etium, we might not see it.
Ooh, ice beam. Sorry.
Reserve tank.
Alright, go continue what you were saying, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Pointing out important items, that's always helpful. I was just mentioning that we might not see the item show up. There is a bit of an issue with some of the Dark Room item pickups that they don't show up on screen.
Oh.
So,
Alu.
yeah, we might have to wait till we get to Super Metroid to see what it is if etium picks up something here.
Alu. Why couldn't he slow down that beep? He made it real fast.
Double speed just for the memes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm waiting till the devs decide to add 4-time heart speed instead of just double.
Yeah.
Make it even more fun.
Ice Rod cave check. Now I saw a bow on the Ice Rod the other day.
Yeah, I saw that match as well. It's one of those checks that it is a long walk to get to, but in case it is something essential like that, you really don't want to isolate it.
I see Alu gonna reset, or is he gonna do escape? He's probably gonna do escape or go to Eastern.
Yeah, with the sword, both of those make sense. Oh, he hasn't done a map check, so he might have been trying to see if that was a pendant before going to Eastern. The fact that it's a crystal, it's gonna be less likely to go there early, but we'll see what happens. Still doesn't have any movement items for Super Metroid. He's got enough power bombs to do a fairly efficient sweep through some things. But you'd like, high jump boots, speed booster's really nice, so you can do waterway on your first pass through Brinstar. If you have a grapple beam to get you to wreck ship, and a couple E-tanks to make Fantoon safe, that's nice to have.
All the seeds I've seen so far have been really, really healthy seeds. I mean, a lot of energy tanks and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any energy tanks. We've seen the one reserve right here that,
Yeah.
that Etium's just picking up from the NPC. But that's a little dangerous too.
I'm waiting for him to menu to see if he picked up anything from Link to the Past in that dark room.
Oh, it was a piece of heart is all it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing essential. If Alucard decides to leave that one behind, it won't be a big loss.
No. But, I mean, I've seen runners get bamboozled by that.
Yeah, for sure. It can be a real issue sometimes. Got to be very careful of knowing what items you have, which ones you don't have. In particular, whether or not you have the map, because maps and compasses don't show up in dark rooms, I believe. It might just be maps. But knowing whether you have it or not before you open the chest is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Etium with not a lot of early progression in Escape. I was going to say he might opt to do some fake flippers just to continue getting some Link to the Past checks done, but no, he opts to save and quit and reset, like you mentioned earlier. So he is going straight into Super Metroid at this point, not doing Eastern or Sahasrara. Makes sense, so you don't have to double dip the area, but still a little sketchy with the health he's got. And not filling his reserve either. He could opt to go into the ship and refill that reserve really quick.
Going down to Bomb Chorizo. And we have some money. Alu making his way to the Dark Cross item.
Yeah, he's right near the chest. It's hard to tell exactly, but keeps getting pushed around by the ropes. This is why this is scary. He's in the right spot. He just can't get. Well, we see Etium going for Alcatraz escape here. Nicely done.
No more beeping.
Even if it took him a little bit more time, it saves the power bomb that he would have had to use to get out on the right side. So that's really good for him to be able to preserve that. At least if he's planning on routing this down into Blue Brinstar. Or I guess he could go through Terminator into Green Brinstar first. And he might just be getting these checks done early to get him out of the way since they're so close by.
I mean, Eastern, like he could go into Eastern. There's not a lot he could do. I mean, he can clear it out, but it's without the bow. There's really, I mean, it's very lackluster to do.
Yeah, without the bow, and since the vanilla big key location is locked behind a lamp as well, it makes it a little bit less valuable, even if you can get it in the dark. You know it's not going to be your immediate progression because it's out of logic. So we'll see where Alucard's going now. Might just be walking into the portal instead of the reset. So yeah, it's nice to see the two different options the runners have here. This makes sense with his power bomb count. I think I like this play. He's going to be able to check the 230 missiles that Etium checked on the way down, and the bomb chorizo on the way
out.
Yes, yeah. But basically, they're more in his way, and he's going to get to do Brinstar forwards as opposed to going through Blue Brinstar and going backwards the way Etium is. It's a minor difference, and of course, if one chain of those items has some progression or something to speed them up, it's going to be the right choice retroactively.
Yeah, he's going up and out.
Also want to note, if anyone's not familiar with this, notice that Alucard turned off his ice beam, and Etium didn't. So the beams are always enabled immediately when you pick them up in Link to the Past, unless they are Spazer or Plasma Beam. There's some issues that can happen if those are both enabled at the same time. But
yeah, good thing. I mean, you know, a beam that destroys everything is kind of nice, but we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, you don't want to destroy the game, just the enemies. Yeah, we'll see if etium decides to turn off that ice beam. It can be helpful with the damage output, but sometimes freezing the enemies before you kill them is problematic as far as the platforming goes.
And the Billy Mays room only had some super missiles and some money. So you're paying for the super missiles technically, right?
Basically. It's really not that bad of a find, though, this early. They have a lot of super missiles already, which is surprising for how soon it is, but no
it
charge.
Looks like Alu is going towards the gauntlet. I like this play, even though it is really, really dangerous with his health, with what it is. I mean, he has one reserve tank.
Yeah, as long as you stay on track with the cycles for the acid here, it's not too bad. If you get off a little bit, though, with no suits, it really starts to eat away your health fast. Or if you get grabbed by that yapping maw that he's very adeptly dodging.
Ooh, that power bomb pushed him down.
Okay, so it looks like etium is, he just wanted to check the blue Brinstar checks, and then he's going to go not deal with the side hoppers, which is actually a pretty fair bet.
Ooh, Alu getting bit by that lava.
Okay. Yeah, that takes his health down really fast.
Oh.
But no suits. Yeah, some of these enemies and some of this environmental damage is pretty substantial. I think that might be why etium's going back up here, as opposed to going through those side hoppers. I don't know the damage values per se, but I've definitely died there multiple times. So he's going to go back up, probably save and refill his power bombs and go through Brinstar.
And Alu getting the back of Gauntlet, and it's just missiles and or money and bombs.
Well, at the very least, he can grab a couple power bombs on his way out, and he didn't die. Those are the most important things.
Yeah, that's true. Some more super missiles. Alu taking it really, really safe.
Yeah, I was just going to say he might stop to farm these Kagos as well. They drop a lot of big healths and some missiles as well. Yeah, I don't know the drop rates, but they do have a tendency to drop the big 20 health refills. So that's a good spot to farm up real quick if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, knowing which enemies drop what items and their, even if you don't know the exact percentages, what the likelihoods are, can be really handy in a game like this. Hopefully etium has some similar knowledge that'll help him out later on as well.
I'm not gonna deny, I only remember the enemies that drop 100% items, that like the power bomb enemies and stuff, because it makes sense. But, you know, but I'm weird and I have my moments and I forget even that, so.
Yeah, there's just a lot to know. There's so much about this game as far as the, you know, all the movement mechanics and the room layouts, item placements, drop rates, damage values. You know, there's so much to know. It takes a lot of effort, and I certainly don't know everything.
Now, without charge beam, you're going to see these runners pick up every single weapon expansion they can get their hands on.
For the most part, there will be a time when we see him start to drop super missile pickups and avoid those, or not super missile, sorry, regular missile pickups. Actually, etium's getting pretty close to that point right now. As early as it is, you're going to expect to run into a couple on accident. And etium already has 45 supers. Obviously, he's going to want more than 25 missiles unless he gets a bunch more super missiles, but we'll see that point at some point where they start skipping them. But yeah, ammunition's a lot more valuable for sure at this point. And blue mail, that's really handy too. So the mail upgrades, if nothing else, that saves Alucard and etium once he gets over here to the Etikun's item, Etikun's super missiles. He'll be able to skip some more heart pieces and heart containers that are a little more out of the way and still feel comfortable with that blue mail.
Oh, I'd like to throw out, don't forget to follow these runners and whatnot for putting on the show and, you know, follow the runners and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing a terrific job. They definitely both capable and solid at these games. That's why they're both here, having won their first matches.
And also, don't forget to follow my co-commentator Ace and our tracker Relkin. I hope I didn't butcher his name. Let's see.
I believe that was right.
I don't see anything him responding that I said it wrong, so
It's always a good sign.
alright.
These are those side hoppers. Alucard take it nice and safe. Make sure not to take any big hits here. Still with only that one reserve tank. Etium did pick up the E-tank in Blue Bryn Star, so he's gonna not have to take it quite as safe and slow, but still only one E-tank is not a lot.
Yeah. Ooh!
Ooh.
I saw a bow.
Yeah,
Saw a bow.
so that's really nice.
I saw a bow. I got excited.
So both of our runners are going to feel really good about that bow, since neither of them have dipped Eastern Palace.
Yeah.
I forget which one of them went to Sahasrarla's hut.
That
No,
was
only one of
Alu.
them. That was Alucard. Okay. So yeah, you still feel pretty good having skipped the double dip of Eastern Palace, even if you did Sahasrarla early. But Etium's going to feel even better knowing that he can do that on his way into Eastern and be able to get all those checks. It'll be 6 items for him whenever he decides to do that.
We are also a glove away from Dark World access and a moon pearl away from actually doing anything in the Dark World access. Dark World. Adams Tracker got a little overzealous there, tracking the bow already.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not going to skip it at this point, but...
No, he's not going to skip it, but at least we know where it's at. I think Alu's setting up for a wave gate glitch. And he gets it, second shot.
Nice. We'll see, hopefully...
Ooh, a sword.
I was going to say, hopefully it's either not required or Etium also knows how to do that wave gate glitch. It's certainly not in logic. It's not required on normal mode. Some of the runners haven't opted to learn it or don't feel comfortable doing it. Sometimes they just like to stick to logic, but...
I got it. Well, I was practicing once. I got it by accident.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely easier with high jump boots. So like, there's always a chance that Etium might know the setup with high jump boots and not without them.
That extra sword is helpful.
Yeah, it's helpful. It might be required. It might be a logically required sword if anything's on a tablet later, or if we need to do Aghanim, and that's the entry requirement for that.
And these runners are saying high five to each other right now.
Yeah, Etium's still got to check the Spore Spawn super missiles, and looks like he does know the setup for that. So he can do the backdoor strat here and not have to fight
That's
Spore
a moon
Spawn.
pearl.
Okay, we're a little closer to that Dark World access you mentioned, H. That's good.
We just miss it. We're a glove away.
Yeah. This is
So it's not an AGA required Dark World.
Not that, and it's not the Brinstar skip seed either.
Well, I mean, it could be though, if you think about it. If we don't find the gloves, if we do not find the gloves anywhere in all these checks, we could still have to do AGA, and the gloves could be on the pyramid. If you think about it.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, with the gloves still out of logic, or still floating around out there, they could be in Eastern, they could be in Lower Norfair on high jump, they could be on Spazer, they could be in Red Tower somewhere, in Alpha Power Bombs.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots, and there's also a decent chance we'll get like a suit, like a gravity suit to get us into Meridia, or maybe a grapple beam, or speed booster, space jump, something to get into wreck ship. So that there's one item could open up a lot of locations that we could find the mirror in. That's very good timing for the E-tank on Alucard.
I am glad that the developers haven't made a sound to speed up that sound. That Super Metroid sound of Samus losing health is one of those things that.
You know, I gotta disagree with you on that one. I kind of like the Super Metroid beeping sound. I don't want to speed it up, I'll say that, but I like it as it is. Luckily, we see etium does know and is able to do a good job getting that wave gate glitch there to get his Master Sword. Taking a decent amount of damage, but cleans up those side hoppers. And that big side hopper does a lot of damage. He wants to just make sure to get rid of him so it doesn't take a death.
Now Alu's gonna go out. Ooh, he does have enough. He can get out. No, he needs one more power bomb.
Yeah, he can't get to the shaft supers, but he can get the
Mother Brain item.
The Mother Brain, yeah, sorry.
I was talking about going back to Green Brimstar. And there's etium's Moon Pearl.
Yeah, so Alucard doesn't need anything else in Green Brimstar except for Waterway at this point. So he's good there. He's going to finish up this loop up at Criteria and probably go down the Red Tower. Etium is going to do kind of the same thing. Having done Blue Brimstar early, he's not going to have to go back up. He kind of has the option here. It's a little awkward at this point. He could choose to go down to high jump, or he could go up the Red Tower, which is in logic. With the Ice Beam, he can freeze the Rippers, even if he doesn't know how to do some of those really tricky wall jumps to get through there, to go up to Alpha Power Bombs, those other two items.
I mean, Alu's routing's a little bit more safer.
Yeah, it's a little bit smoother. It's less items immediately and more of an efficient full clear, I would say.
And he's just gonna pass by Bomb Trees, though. Or did he already do it? I think he already did.
He did that one. He did Bomb Trees on his way up around to the entrance of the Gauntlet. So, which at this point is really the only difference, I believe, is that Alucard did the Gauntlet checks and etium has not.
There's nothing in Gauntlet really to worry about, but it's one part you really don't feel comfortable at orphaning off.
Yeah, it's not the best. It isn't too bad with the items they have and what else they're missing, since they haven't been able to get up to the Criteria power bombs. They don't have a way into wreck ships, so they're going to be back up at the top of Criteria anyway at some point. But knowing that it's definitely available, not sure whether etium just wants to stay away from it because it's out of logic. The wall jumps are kind of tricky to get up there, and also the low health situation is problematic since we saw Alucard almost take the death.
I'm probably going to call this location wrong, but the moat item to end a wreck ship, Alu didn't check that. I mean, it's an easy check and it's an easy item to get if, it's one of those easy items to get even with his current loadout.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising that he hasn't checked. They didn't check that on the way down here, since he is doing a little bit more of a full clear perspective at this point.
And etium's checking Croc escape item and just missiles. And Alpha Power Bombs has a red ring.
All right, well, there's both boomerangs.
Really? Where was the other one?
The blue one was in Edikun's E-Tank. It was right before the blue mail.
Did they pick it up?
Yes, yeah, I believe both runners picked up the blue boomerang. And now they have the red one to go with it, which does have its uses. Both have their uses in places where they might be helpful, so you don't really mind getting both, especially without flippers. I'm not certain if both these runners know all of some of the Insula Splash Elysian techniques, but the red boomerang could be really handy for those, if you're familiar with them.
Did etium check the high jump room?
He did not. I was a little surprised by that. I assume he's going to go back in after this old man rescue and Spec Rock checks, but he was right next to it checking the back of Croc Escape. So it's really interesting that he's choosing to do that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to go back in, check the high jump items, and then go up to Kraid. But it's a little odd that he didn't check it on his way up from the Crocomire escape. Yeah, it didn't look like anything good at Alpha or Beta power bombs. Any of those three checks at the top of Red Tower. So fortunate for etium that he had a little bit of an awkward decision to make there, to go up or down at Red Tower and skip those. Oh, I didn't see that. Looks like chat pointing out that etium had no power bombs.
Ah.
So he wasn't able to get out of high jump boots. He could have checked the E-tank item in the front, but that feels kind of bad when you can just fill your power bombs up. You see what that was on Spectacle Rock, HK?
No, I did not.
Looked like the gravity suit. So that's nice to know that we have some more very important progression behind that mirror. So mirror unlocks the gravity suit. Etium's about to get that in just a minute here. Later we'll see it unlock the boots, hopefully. See if Etium can get this nice bomb jump to speed up his Death Mountain clear. This is a bit of a tricky one. You can't just stand on the edge like you can for a lot of them and let it work, because it's a little bit wider of a gap.
Sorry, I looked down for a split second and didn't see what was on Spectacle Rock.
Oh, it's all good. I'm sure that I will miss more things, and I've already missed a couple.
Yep. Gravity suit. And we're getting DLC from Kraid. Oh, we got a green pin and internal rock, so that ice rod is probably not required. Red crystal, a pod, and I didn't see the other crystals.
There was a pendant and ice pallet.
Glove.
And the glove behind Kraid, so there's
Dark World access.
full Dark World access, yep. Now, fortunately, we do have a Crystal Swamp Palace, which I say is fortunate because that means we're definitely getting the flippers, so we're definitely going to be able to get those boots at some point. Because if you have Pendant Swamp and Pendant Ice, there's always a chance that you aren't going to find the flippers anywhere. And in this case, that's really bad.
Ooh, magic powder. Good safety item right there.
Good safety item and might be progression. They do have the hammer, so they'll be able to check Magic Bat when they get an opportunity to do so. And I didn't see what was in the lobby or the basement here, or that first chest in Tower of Terror.
It was a map.
Okay, it's just a map and a big key.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We got missiles there. I didn't see that item.
That was just the compass.
Ah, so there is an item in the basement. Ooh,
well, it could be the small
Quake.
key. The small key could be locked behind itself, so that is an option. All required items. Wow. Charge beam at high jump.
And a Quake up at top.
Yeah, this is a pretty valuable couple checks. The good thing is for etium is he's going to come back here sooner or later. Charge beam isn't really necessary till the end of the game. Oh no, getting middle hold by Moldorm.
Ooh, double fall.
Ouch.
Wah, wah, wah. I was hoping the book would be in one of those checks, to be honest with you, because I would love to see them like able to route the pendant or the tablet in.
Yeah, for sure. These runners, etium in particular, for coming up here a little earlier than Alucard did, is going to be hoping for progression here on Death Mountain, something to help make this earlier trip even more valuable. You hate to make too many trips up Death Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he gets pushed off again. Ouch. He just expecting Moldorm to turn there, and he just kept going straight at him to that, following him northwest, and he couldn't get away. Oh, but sorry, I lost my train of thought for a minute. The small key can be locked in the basement here in Tower. The way the randomizer is set up, all items, whether they're single rupees or required progression items, are logically available, but there are some keys that are allowed to lock themselves.
Hey, there's that key.
This is not one of them, but there's a chance. You Yeah, this key here, the small key in Thieves Town, can lock itself. There's a few other options like that.
Swamp Palace can lock the big
Swamp
key.
Palace. Yep. Obviously, etium was hoping that was the case here, but
yeah, he's not gonna go back in.
Not. Yeah, he doesn't have a fire source, so he's not able to get the basement item.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of nice, actually. It might be a relief unless he gets the lamp here. Let's say in Spiral Cave.
Alu opting not to go get that. Alu opting not to get that X-ray on Floating Island. Okay. Pendant ice.
Sorry, what's that? Do you mean etium?
Etium. What did I say?
You mentioned Alu getting the X-ray. I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Alu's stream and etium's stream at the same time.
Gotcha.
Alu not getting the energy tank, and then I saw the X-ray on the floating island.
Okay, gotcha. That makes so much sense. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a pretty bold decision to skip that energy tank, having only one, I believe, at this point. But
yeah,
you're gonna stumble into some more. Knowing that hell runs are not required in normal logic might be a factor in that. If it was hard, there's I think a better chance that Alu would pick that up. But he actually might come back to it after he's done with these Death Mountain checks. There's always the opportunity to do that as well.
And we're getting a Paradox Cave check. We got some bombs and some missiles.
Yeah, and etium's really hoping for something here. The gloves might be the bottleneck at this point for him.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Paradox Cave not panning out. Oh, why did you leave Death Mountain? Please go back to Super Metroid and get those gloves.
Yeah, I don't believe he has any power bombs still. He didn't pick up any packs of them, which might be something he was hoping for.
He's going to go to Eastern.
So yeah, he's gonna follow that bow to Eastern, get another crystal, get some Hospital's Hut check. This makes a lot of sense from his situation. Mm-hmm. It's a good point that resource management, especially early on when you have so few power bombs, can be a big difference maker.
Alu has the choice though. He can go into the Dark World and clear out Pod first and do Pod. Yes, it's not in logic because he does not have the lamp. But he could go with that mirror. He could go into Pod, finish Pod up, and then go turn around and do the Eastern play. And because they're both 5/6 crystals.
Yeah, that's a really likely routing choice that he'll make. He'll obviously do Hype Cave first if he chooses to do that, hoping for more hearts. But he does have blue mail and already, what is that, 8 hearts?
Yeah.
Health is not really an issue here.
I wonder if he realizes he doesn't have a fire source. Where's he going?
Not really sure.
I think Alu's finally lost his mind.
Did he skip a check on the way up here?
I don't remember.
He might have skipped a check. That's interesting. Apparently he skipped the big chest. I'm not sure why that would be, but I don't know, maybe he didn't feel comfortable with the bomb jumps. Sometimes you just feel a little bit off. Knowing there's only one item left, might have just tried to gamble it.
Yeah, it's sad to say.
Yeah, he's just gonna go ahead and go up here and drop down the.
Charge. Hey, Link Force, to answer your question, Charge was in high jump.
Yeah, Charge and Quake were at high jump, and etium didn't have a power bomb to get out, so he wasn't able to check those. Yeah, obviously he'll be getting that stuff without too much delay. It's just not being able to route Eastern with Pod is a little unfortunate, and he's going to have to go back to the ship to refill his power bombs, and then either transition games again or do some other checks, and then make his way back down to high jump and Kraid to get those Charge Beam, Quake Medallion, the gloves.
I missed
your hands.
The first chest of ether was because I was preoccupied with what the world Alu was doing. I thought he was off his rocker.
The first chest was a big key. I missed the second one myself.
It was a compass.
Okay. Good thing we got each other's backs.
Of course.
Yeah, so just 2 dungeon items, which means it's really likely that 1 or 2 of these items in this dungeon is going to be lamp locked. That's an interesting strat from etium to... So instead of walking up and grabbing that pot, you can use pots and position yourself in a spot where you only have to kill 2 of those Stalfos. He opted to basically aggro all the Stalfos, but use his bow to kill them quickly without having to walk around.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Can't say I've seen that.
And Alu going to his Paradox Cave of Trash.
Yeah, so we'll see where Alucard decides to route next. He's got a couple options. I think I agree with you, HK, that he's probably going to go to Pipe Cave into Pod and Eastern, but there's certainly a couple other options that'd be viable. He could choose to go into Village of Outcasts first and clear out Thieves Town and all those overworld checks that are definitely safer than
there's a
Dark
Spacer.
Pod.
The best beam of the game, the Spacer beam. I love that beam.
I mean, I do too, honestly. It's got a nice hitbox, and it substantially increases the damage. Not as good as Plasma.
Back of Escape.
Little
That's
less
a good check.
useful. Oh yeah, Back to Escape is here as well. And he already did Dark Cross. He got a map, so he knows that one of these is just a small key. The other 2 are items.
That's a speed booster. That's a speed booster right there.
Well, that's good to have, especially before going into Wreck Ship on your first trip. So you know you can get that reserve item. Unfortunately, Waterway is a little isolated, but
No, it's
he
not.
hasn't checked.
Oh, it's oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. I'm being an idiot.
No, it's all good. I don't believe either runner. Yeah, neither runner checked the Criteria Supers location that's speed locked, so they can at least check that on the way in or out of Waterway if they opt to do that when some of these more dense locations get cleared out.
Let's check this Hype Cave. Big heart. We got some missiles. We got an E-tank. We got a heart. And we got some money.
Yeah, not too hype, but the health is appreciated.
Oh,
the
yeah.
E-tank especially so at this point with how few they have, but knowing what's coming next here for Alucard, having more health is certainly better than less health.
Oh yeah.
The
My
dark
question
rooms
is,
can
where
go
is this
very
lamp
well.
at?
Yeah, it could be a lot of places. Speed Booster unlocks all of Wreck Ship. We've
Now
got
this. No,
Village of
I'm
Outcasts,
sorry.
Thieves Town.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but this is. He knows that the 5-6 crystals are in Pod and Eastern. So when he goes to do Pyramid Fairy, because he'll probably do Pyramid Fairy right after this, he will go and check the pyramid item after this.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really, really nice efficiency he's going to have by getting to this Dark World access with the bow super early.
And having these gloves puts him at a wonderful advantage. Now, Adam is now back at the ship. He's going to go down Red Tower. And
yeah, he could opt to go into Wreck Ship, since he has that gravity suit. It's not in logic with what he has at the moment. He doesn't have a high jump to jump out of the water normally. Doesn't have any can fly, like space jump or morph ball bombs. But okay, as I say, he could opt to do a gravity jump. It's pretty simple on that one. It's not very precise to get up to that ledge and direct ship. It looks like he's sticking with the logic. This is 3 quick checks, so this makes a lot of sense to do as well. Yeah, and interesting to note too that Alucard is opting to do pod before doing Eastern.
Okay.
So
my stream froze, like it buffered.
yeah, mine did the same thing. But yeah, Alucard is clearly not too worried about safety here in Palace of Darkness. If he was, he might have opted to do Eastern first, the safer dungeon, hope for another heart or fire source, what have you.
I missed what was in that chest item that Alu just picked up.
Yeah, I missed a few chests as well. I'm still getting everything back up myself.
I'm done buffering. It's loading for me, so I mean it's loaded and good to go. So
Okay. More than likely, it was just keys. Most of pod is just key for key at the front half of the dungeon. And once you get all your keys, you start getting all the items.
Now don't start. Now chat, don't start propagating the Twitch is dying thing because we don't need it to die. Thank you, Link Force.
Yeah, the Dark Turtles room with any number of hearts can be scary. That's the big room that Alucard could be concerned about here. He does have a Quake medallion. If you're able to flip him over, I believe Quake kills them once they're upside down. So that hopefully he's able to use that if he gets in a little bit of trouble. Because what happens is a lot of times you can hit the turtle, flip him over, and then it's hard to find them in the dark because the way they bounce is very awkward.
The best beam of the game was in Eastern, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was in the vanilla big key chest, I believe.
I think so.
So it's auto locked.
I had to remember.
Not that it matters with that one.
Adam is heading down Red Tower again.
Alright, so this is good. He's gonna do excuse me. He's gonna do Kraid first probably, and then check the high jump location. And then probably just jump straight back into Link to the Past and do some of these Dark World checks. Since he's already done Eastern, he might not do pod right away, but I suspect that he will anyway. Since you usually have to clear most of it looking for keys and whatnot, it's not a dungeon you usually get to go mode, so.
No. There's the big key of East pod.
Alucard, smartly following the key logic, knows there's just a small key behind that harmless hellway door, doesn't have to go in there.
Dark maze.
Another E-Tank. Okay, so we're starting to get really healthy now in Super Metroid. Maybe not really healthy, but at least a comfortable amount of health.
Oh yeah.
Having 4 or 5 E-Tanks is, with Gravity Suit in particular, the environmental damage can still be problematic, but the enemies do so little with Gravity Suit. As you see, the spikes from that mini crate did 1 energy of damage to etium. They're pretty safe with a few exceptions. Things like X-ray scope, that could be tough to get to. Lower Norfair, where there's acid, but they're not going there anytime soon, I wouldn't imagine.
Oh no.
I don't imagine either runner will do that without a Varia suit. It's extremely difficult. And it's also just downright slower, so unless it's, you know, your go mode option and you know you can do it, it's not worth it. Yeah, a little bit more of the Kraid DLC. Looks like both runners having the same troubles here.
Yeah, look at that. Nintendo putting DLC you don't have to pay for already in a game. Before DLC was a thing. Someone's calling it Kraid 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's an interesting name for it.
I like it.
And etium getting his power glove.
Yeah, hopefully he does do the high jump checks before going back into Link to the Past. I suspect that he will, but there's always the off chance that he might get a little too excited or feel behind by getting that glove so late, knowing that he was so close and just didn't have the power bomb to get to it. Hopefully he does high jump to get his sword.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, hardest dark room in the game. It's like the bottom left turtle didn't cooperate. And then he missed the top two turtles trying to fix it. It's so hard to figure out where they are at this point, though. As soon as you get one flipped over, it just doesn't work. Okay. Very nice. Using Quake, knowing it's going to kill any upside-down turtles.
It stuns them.
Or stuns them. Okay, it doesn't kill them. My bad. Bombos kills them.
Yeah.
Quake just stuns them, but it does show you where they are.
It does?
Yeah, they flash on the screen when they get stunned or hit by it. So it kind of helps you find them a little bit easier. Alright, good. Etium is getting his Master Sword here. This is nice.
And he does remember to go to high jump. That's good for him. And this is going to be a really quick Helmosaur fight with these silver arrows. One shot and boom, there goes the dynamite.
Oh yeah, the 17 hammer hits on phase 1. Even if he takes some fireballs or gets trampled a little bit, it's a much easier fight than most of the bosses.
Now, right now, both Pod and Eastern are technically out of logic because they still do not have a lamp. So that lamp is probably somewhere. Agina's Cave could have it. It's a tier 0 check that they never went. And yeah, since Desert's
the last one left, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And Alu's making his way to Eastern.
Yeah, and we'll see Etium jump in here to do Hype Cave. Probably follow right behind it in Pod.
Again, it is the 5/6 crystal that they're going after right now, so it makes sense to do Pod right now, like when he gets done with Hype Cave.
Yeah. The only reason against it would be try to save that turtle room for when you have a lamp or even a fire rod, so you can light the torches. Even though Etium's more than capable of it, it still is time-consuming. I mean, you could see how long it took Alucard to get through there, whereas if they had a lamp, it would be
much faster.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Alucard, that's just how the room goes. Some of those turtle patterns are RNG, so if they walk the wrong direction, even if you do the quote-unquote correct strats, just you miss the turtles.
Oh, yeah.
So Etium going west. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. This is what I would say is the other really smart option at this point. He's going to be able to clear a lot more overworld this way. He's going to get Stumpy, K45. He'll be able to mirror, go into Kakariko, clear out things like Magic Bat on his way back into the Dark World and do Thieves Town. It's pretty much a guarantee that both runners will do what the other is doing right now at some point. Mm-hmm. So you can't think of it as too much of a time loss to do one or the other, because they're both going to be required. Just do whichever one is more efficient for you.
And a reserve tank at K45. Did he check Stumpy? If he did, I missed it.
He's checking Stumpy right now.
Okay.
He did K45 first. And just a heart piece on Stumpy. Hopefully both these runners have plenty of rupees, so they can afford Dig Game, and once they get into Village of Outcasts, the chess game as well.
Well, not only that, Lavs Oak Cloud in chat, he pointed it out Pod and Eastern back-to-back is a nice check, but it's also nice that these are also 5-6 crystals, both of them. So
Yeah,
we'll be able to do pyramid and stuff.
Absolutely. That
Ooh,
makes
that's a
that.
screw attack.
Oh, is
Sorry.
that what was at the dig game?
Oh yeah, that was a screw attack.
Nice. I missed that. Yeah, that's really helpful. Definitely not required for any progression anywhere, but it just speeds up so much of the game.
Lower Norfair especially.
Yeah, you don't
It
have to
makes
even
the
think about enemies.
And makes the Phantoon fight a little bit safer.
True, Phantoon and Ridley as well. Yeah, pretty much everything, and especially Lower Norfair, is going to be so much faster and easier. Just being able to jump straight into all those pirates, an amphitheater, worst room in the game, without having to, you know, finagle around them or kill them other ways that are slower.
And Magic Bat, our lovable Magic Bat, has some love, a little bit of love.
Well, hopefully the powder ends up being helpful for safety more than it is for progression.
Yeah.
Well, I guess hopefully they don't need it at all, and both don't ever need to use the powder. That's what I should say.
True.
If you have to use it, then you're in trouble. Or preparing for trouble, I guess. Maybe capturing a ferry.
Mm-hmm. They could be Team Rocket. Prepare for trouble. Make it double.
Nice. Alright, so Alucard chooses not to go take the walk back to Pyramid. It is a pretty long walk from the entrance to Pod and Eastern. I certainly don't fault him for that.
He's probably just going to go back through the Super Metroid. It's a lot quicker than walking all the way back. He can...
Yeah, it might just be that he doesn't want to do that for a while, since Subtle Logic might just be kind of holding on to those red crystals until he gets... I don't know. He does
have speed. I forgot he does have speed booster.
But yeah, he has speed booster, so he can do this criteria power bombs check, which is ether. So that's nice. We have our second medallion of the 3. And he can do wreck ship as well. Full clear that, which is, I imagine, exactly what he's thinking. Plenty of health, gravity suit, speed booster. Is opting to turn on his best beam before going in. Meanwhile, Etium's checking out what we have in Thieves Town. This is a crystal, so he's going to full clear this one as well. Crystal and 4 items. You pretty much have to do the whole dungeon every time, so it's always a good one to do early, with the exception of having to walk instead of run through it, being a little bit annoying and slow.
Now, Adam did not go and check the back of Escape, so he doesn't have this wonderful item of Speed Booster.
Yeah, that's correct. Since he's already done the south checks here, he might opt to, after Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town, head around the north side of Dark World, check Graveyard Ledge, and then drop down into back of Escape. That's a pretty good option, a pretty good time to check it without forcing another save and quit just for that.
And we got Canfly on Alu's screen. That's a good find. It's a good, you know, he doesn't have to waste power bombs now. So I mean, it's a good item to have, so he doesn't accidentally softlock himself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not only not have to softlock himself, but just not have to farm up as many power bombs with only 10. I kind of didn't think about it, but only 10 power bombs still. Pretty low.
He does not have the Adam's in. I just now noticed that Adam was in Thieves Town. I was watching Alu's stream on where he was going.
Yeah, he's in Thieves Town, and he did pick up a Tempered Sword too, which is really nice. Doesn't really help much for this dungeon, where the boss doesn't matter what sword you do, and most of the enemies are kind of out of your way anyway. Apart from these crickets, which luckily die with Master Sword.
I really hate those crickets.
Yeah, Blue Man helps a lot too, because it's only 1 heart of damage for getting hit by him, but Tempered Sword will be really handy afterwards in some of these later dungeons and bosses that are a little bit more healthy.
Now, Alu does not have the luxury of the screw attack right here because he has not done Dig Game.
Yeah, luckily with that gravity suit, he can tank pretty much as many hits as he wants. Oh, looks like he's just 1 super shy. Is this a 4 round, I believe? I think he just missed the 3 round by one super shot there.
I really don't know, for honesty, on what the level of red he needs to be to fire a super missile. I just take a guess and pray that I'm right. Not gonna deny.
I know that. So Etium must not have picked up any of the dungeon items by skipping that chest by the maiden. I wasn't counting dungeon items per se here in Thieves, but he skipped the chest by the maiden, so that means we have a small key, map, and compass left, unless he's just making a crazy gamble that would be absurd. And he knows better not to do that, so good on him for counting, unlike we were or weren't. But yeah, back to the Phantoon fight. I know top runners definitely know the counts, and they count their missile shots and know exactly where it needs to be. I don't quite have that down myself. Being informed it's 19 missiles and 1 super to finish him off. But yeah, you can also read the color. He turns bright red. He's pretty much done.
I missed the item, or what he dropped.
Blind was just a map. Yeah. Etium knew it was map, compass, and small key in the last 3 chests. That's why he skipped the maiden chest, which is really rare you get to do that.
Now Alu's probably gonna take that safety save and then go check the energy tank area, so he has somewhere to reset back to.
Yeah, you see different runners choose to do different things, and it sometimes maybe depends on the items they have, but it's a little out of the way to save, but by getting to reset, assuming the item ends up being not important, yeah, is a little faster than backtracking through here. But you'll see runners do both strategies, and whichever one's better just depends on whether or not it's useful.
I mean, I've seen people... I've seen runners feel like they're behind and just go ahead and suck it up and just go do it, or not do it at all.
Yeah, true.
And that's a mushroom.
Alright, so he's not going to be resetting that out. Just in case it's progression. Even though it's probably not. Yeah, the
way this scene's going right now, I want to say it's progression. Because some of these items have just been in really awkward locations.
Yeah, at least the runners do have a few good mobility items. Having Speed Booster and Gravity Suit is really nice to speed up a lot of Super Metroid. Having that mirror when you first enter Dark World is really nice for Link to the Past. Just for getting, efficiency of overworld checks. You don't have to make quite as many loops around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a grapple beam on it in Skull Woods.
Grapple beam. So that's interesting, because that grapple beam could push Etium here into Rex Ship the same way Speed Booster did for Alucard, since they're both logical ways to get in this area. Oh, misses the 1 atomic on that Shine Spark. That hurts.
That's the 3rd time I've seen someone miss that. That's also without the high jump, but he could still go into Meridia as well. Adam can.
Yeah, Gravity Suit unlocks quite a bit of Meridia.
And grapple with grapple beam.
With grapple or with speed booster. Yeah, it's the same as the wreck ship. So good job pointing that out. Thank you. I always forget that grapple is like a logical requirement for Everest because grappling underwater with a gravity suit is terrible.
Hey, I like the grapple beam. I remember when I played this when I was a kid. That's what I'd do. I'd go to Dragon's area and whatnot and grapple around and take off like the gravity suit and just have the very on and just play around with the grapple beam and work on wall jumps because I wanted to be better than my brother and it was the best time to do it.
Nice.
Like you can get a sense of, because you move so slow, you can get a sense on how that moves. Also, that super missile block that Alu just blew up is the only super missile block in this game that actually respawns after you destroy it. Don't know why, but it does.
I never thought about that.
It does. I found like I was taking too long and it just respawned, but if you go to the other super missile blocks, the other ones don't respawn. And that zoomer, or zipper or whatever you want to call it, between the capsules or between those doorways that walks back and forth, that is the only one that looks like Samus. And I missed what was in Graveyard Ledge.
Graveyard Ledge was nothing. I didn't see. I already forgot what it was, but it wasn't important. I didn't see the items we got in Skull Woods, but Etium did choose to peek in there, open some chests in the front of the dungeon.
Looks like Adam is going for a fake flipper. And the dark.
Nicely done. Nicely done, Kern jump to get into the water here, set up the fake flipper to get to Catfish a little faster. He does have logical access to this a much longer and slower way. It's unfortunate that he does not have the mushroom, because this would be the perfect time to turn that in. So Alucard getting that mushroom here in Wreck Ship first is just going to be a little bit more efficient. If he does opt to turn that in and go to Catfish, he'll be able to do it on the way. Yeah, this makes sense from Etium. He's likely going to save and quit out of here. Oh wait, he hasn't done Zora checks yet either. At least check Zora and the item on the ledge.
Yeah, he has his mirror out ready to go for the scam, or for this, the Quake fish. And that's a cave.
Okay. I didn't see if he checked the bumper ledge. He might have opted to skip it since it wasn't available, or check it and I just didn't see it. Is setting up the Insilla Splash deletion here to get into Waterfall Cave.
I think he just gave up on it.
So I don't know if he's reset since he's killed Armos Knights, but there's some weird shenanigans going on in the background that you have to...
Ooh, that's a book.
Basically flush those values out to get it to reset and be able to work normally.
Do you see that book on the...
Yeah, book on the ledge. That's very likely progression. Well, I guess not that likely. It only unlocks a couple things in Desert and the 2 tablets, but they're definitely going to want it. Hopefully he's able to... I don't know if he has any items to fix those Ancilla values.
And those are mitts. On Zora.
So that's definitely worth the 500 rupees. Yeah, that setup looked perfect to me. I'm not sure how the soft reset that's built in here affects that, but I know that if you don't reset, it doesn't fix those Ancilla values. There's some other things you can do that involve using magic items to fix it. Yeah, he's not able to do that at this point, and that's really unfortunate for him.
Alu will probably wait until he gets flippers to go do that because it makes sense, logically.
Yeah, I don't know about Alucard's familiarity with the splash deletion techniques. I'm not sure if he if he knows them, but he would have the same issue at this point as well. He did do a reset, but I don't know if it was a hard reset or how the soft reset functionality that's built in affects those values. So even if he does attempt it, there's no guarantee that he'll be able to get it due to that. He is going to have to make his way to Zora sooner or later, though, to get those mitts. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that pushes Etium. Oh, this is interesting. Etium choosing to check the Pyramid Ledge before doing Pod and getting that second red crystal.
How they're doing Skull Woods, we can see what items were in here. Power Bomb on the Pyramid.
Power Bombs are nice. That's, I think, just the third pack for Etium, and he doesn't have the Morph Bombs yet, so either way, he's going to want as many Power Bombs as he can pick up until he gets those, basically. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with checking that Pyramid Ledge before going into Pod here. It's just kind of a long walk. I guess hoping for Lamp or Fire Rod to make this dungeon much better, but the chances of that are so slim.
I'm guessing that Lamp's probably in Agina's cave.
There's a lot of places left. Yeah, Agina's cave is one of them, but it could be pretty far down the progression chain. Sometimes that happens here where it's behind, 4 or 5 spheres. So it could be anywhere behind the mitts still. We've got all that available. Could be somewhere in Meridia, which is a lot of locations. Interesting, Alucard to opt to use the ether here. I like that to clear out those mummies in what's arguably one of the worst rooms in the game for Link to the Past. The boomerang does stun the mummies and is a little bit quicker. You don't have all the lag and the cutscene of ether, but obviously ether's a little bit simpler and still pretty minor time loss to avoid getting bopped around. All right, so yeah, this is going to be a lot of just seeing what we've seen from the opposing runner. Okay, Alucard actually surprised me a little bit here again, choosing to scout out Bumper Ledge since he doesn't have the cape yet. Oh, he hasn't done Stumpy and Cape 45. Okay, this makes sense. That's right. Since he didn't do the south checks, he's going to do the north ones before going into Village of Outcast. I had forgotten that Etium was the one that did those southwest, I guess you'd say, Dark World checks. Mm-hmm. Maybe not an accurate geographic description. Okay.
Close enough, Jazz.
Yeah, and this makes sense because then he can check Zora and Catfish when he goes to turn in the Pyramid Fairy crystals and check Pyramid Ledge. So I imagine he'll do that, just this nice swoop all the way from here back through Village of Outcast up to the Pyramid to Catfish Zora to get his mitts.
It was just a piece of heart in Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, it's nice to see the two runners like with kind of different strategies, because it seems like Alucard is pushing more of a full clear as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas Etium is pushing for like what items can I get to quickly, quick dense locations to maybe find something to speed up other checks. Both viable options and both make a lot of sense. But I think that's why we've seen Etium do a couple of quicker dips, but it's been a little bit, I guess, choppier, you could say, in his routing. Yeah, both runners obviously still know what they're doing and checking all the big things, the dense locations, full clearing the crystal dungeons they need to clear, not doing the one-offs at this point in time when they have so much else available, which is the right choice. So HK, do you have any guesses on who do you think's gonna put those mitts to use first?
Oh.
Because I imagine Etium's going to check those pretty soon, I would think.
Well, yeah. I mean, Alu's still. He's trying to stay within logic the best he can. Oh, and there's his tempered sword. He's trying to stay. I've noticed Alu is trying to stay in logic a little bit more and trying to be efficient with his routing. So he might not go up to Zora until he gets those flippers. And that's, you know...
Yeah, potentially.
That's gonna hurt him in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be interesting to see, because the flippers... Or, sorry, not flippers. The mitts on Zora are going to be a clear block for Alucard if he doesn't opt to go there fairly soon. After he's done with this Village of Outcasts and swoops around south of the pyramid to get to there.
But with the items we have, technically Zora isn't logic.
Yes.
So the flippers could be locked behind something requiring the mitts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So double dipping the Zora area is one of those things that no one likes to do. I mean, mitts could lead to flippers, and the flippers could lead to some other, like the Varia suit and Waterfall Wishing. And that's something no one likes to see, because it's like those two chests are orphaned once you go up to Zora area. But since the book's up there, you got to go back up there anyway once you find the flippers. If you think it's, you know...
Right. Yeah. Well, the good thing about that double dip, though, is having the mitts actually makes the trip back to those waterfall ferry check to that check a lot easier and more viable. So, because you could route that in pretty quickly on your way to Ice Palace.
Yeah, but they're
just
not
take
going
the whirlpool
ice.
there and back. But once they get mitts and a fire rod or bombos, that'll be fully in logic.
Yeah.
I guess, and flippers. But
I mean, like a lot of people saying, you could fake flipper up there if you really wanted to. They got the Moon Pearl, and you know they could fake flipper all the way up there if they wanted to check the Waterfall Wishing.
Yeah, at this point, fake flippering is it's pretty out of the way, though. It's definitely an option, and if you're worried about orphaning those checks in the Waterfall Cave, that's certainly a way to do it. But I don't foresee that happening. It just makes more sense to just come back when you get flippers. And Etium having the same little bit of difficulty here in the turtle room that the Alucard struggle with. It's so hard in the dark. I don't know how many turtles he's got left. It can't be more than 1 or 2. Luckily, he's got a tempered sword, though. That does actually speed up quite a bit. Just 1 slash will kill a turtle. Okay, he does get through it. He's in the next room, pushing the block, so nicely done by Etium as well. Get through the back half of pod. He can tank these hits in this room from the 4 turtles. Make his way into the very free Helmosaur with his crazy amount of health and silver arrows. Alucard entering the similarly easy blind fight that Etium executed very well earlier. Both just trading places. I don't foresee any difficulties with any of the Link to the Past bosses with their experience and their equipment, so
no,
we might not emphasize those as much as you might in some. Shouldn't really be a deciding factor. There's always a chance we could have a death or a big time loss somewhere, like maybe a cold stare if that goes wrong, but it seems unlikely.
I also would like to throw out again, don't forget to follow these terrific runners for putting on the show and support them and whatnot, and everybody else that's in this wonderful randomizer tournament. And don't forget to follow my co-commentator and the tracker as well. And etium heading to get his speed booster, finally. And Alucard making efficient moves with the check of the powder while still in the Dark World, just to, you know, pop over here real quick and take care of this. Now, where is etium gonna go?
He doesn't have a lot of options that are good here. He could opt to do some of the mids checks.
I think that's what he's doing. He's probably gonna go back through, and do the Smith chain. That's also gonna put him like right by Agina, so he'll be able to do that check as well.
I don't know. It's still a bit of a walk to Agina since he can't do the Bombos. I'm not sure. I like this call from knowing where the mids are. If the mids were anywhere else, I don't think I'd like this by Eddie. But in this specific case, I think this is good. Knowing that's a very out-of-the-way check, knowing that rupees were really scarce early on, since he did Houlihan and didn't really get a lot of rupees until he did a bunch of Super Metroid checks, he might suspect that Alucard does not have those mids and wants to push them early. If they were somewhere on the way, I think this would be just too much walking at this point. How much else is available, like all of Rex Ship, for example, or even, well, I guess that's really the big one. Or Meridia, that or Meridia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that makes sense from his circumstances of where the mitts were. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've noticed Alu like staying within logic when available, even with all his seeds that he's played. We're gonna get two checks right here, Hammer Pegs and the Jebediah check.
While Alucard mistakenly not picking up the reserve tank, even though they're so important.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's our flippers. Okay. Okay, this is so that's a required double dip of the Zora area. The logic did require you to, if you were to stay in logic, go get your flippers, or sorry, your mitts from Zora,
and then go back
get your flippers, then go back to get your book. If the book is in fact required in the logic chain, it might just be a red herring that unlocks nothing useful, but we'll see.
We're getting a big bomb check from Alu. I did not see what was on the Smiths.
It was a bomb capacity upgrade, so not anything important. Especially when you already have 14 bombs. Yeah, I really hope that Alu does what I think he'll do here, and mirror and check Zora after, like, go check Catfish and Zora after this pyramid check. I think that makes the most sense.
Because I know he probably doesn't want to go to Meridia without those high jump boots. I wouldn't want to go to Meridia without those high jump boots.
Yeah, well, not only that, Meridia's just, it's a lot of checks, but they're sort of spread out.
And Alu opting not to get those power bombs.
He might choose to not go to Meridia, trying to wait to do the backdoor into Dragon and clear it that way, a little more efficiently, which not having flippers it'll help him not do that and instead go get the mids. Since that would be like the other option that would make a lot of sense from the Catfish check, which is where he's going. That's good. And etium going to be, looks like mirroring and taking the Whirlpool back to the Zora area. The simultaneous Zora area checks. Oh, he's getting his boots too. He can get his boots.
Yep.
I totally forgot those were here.
Yeah, the boots, having the boots is a really nice, convenient item to have right now. You got to go fast. And Alu turning in this mushroom.
Yeah, those boots are a good find. It gets him the ice rod off of the library which isn't a priority by any means, but I'm sure Etium will pick it up next time he's in the area. Might have to take a trip over there since I think he's done pretty much everything in Kakariko Village of Outcasts at this point, except for activate the flute, which he doesn't have. That might be his only other reason to go there still. Have we seen Sick Kid? Did we get bottles?
We haven't got a bottle yet.
Okay, so that could be a reason to go to Kakariko, turn in a bottle, and pick up that ice rod. But
what did he pick up a bottle at? I missed it.
I don't think we've seen one. I haven't noticed it. I wasn't sure if I missed one, but I was just mentioning that they might wait on that ice rod till they have another reason to head that direction. Looks like nothing in the waterfall cave though, so that's just the book. Still makes the trip over here worth it. With boots now we can clear everything in desert except the boss without a fire source still. I suspect they'll wait on that a little bit. Yeah, checking Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb here for Etium. Makes a lot of sense. Take advantage of those boots right away. Yeah, fortunately the mitts don't really unlock that much right away. That's kind of good for Alucard here. And for Etium as well to push him into those flippers.
The flippers were in Hammer Pigs.
Yeah, and there's the flute at Bonk Rocks. So looks like Etium will check Agina here since he... Not Agina, Aghanim, sorry, the other one. It's a very similar name.
Lumberjack.
Yeah, the Lumberjack check that's unlocked by beating Aghanim 1. And
he's gonna find out it's just missiles.
Right. I assume he'll go down into Kakariko, activate that flute, pick up the ice rod. Really working out. It's kind of a... Seed's kind of giving him a runaround, making him take laps around the world.
Oh, yeah.
In a chain, it's not just, like, completely scattered in the worst possible places.
But at least now, like, once you get the flippers and you get your boots, you can start doing stuff and things and able to run instead of the slow, arduous walk that Alu is doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Alucard just following in the footsteps of Etium, getting his Smith turn in.
Did you do Hammer Pegs already?
He did not. It's really the same. If you don't have boots, it doesn't really matter which one you do first. A lot of times you can do Smith first, hoping for the boots. Obviously, he's not going to get boots, and he knows that, but it really doesn't matter which one you do first here, so you can always grab the purple chest and just leave it outside the entrance of the cave.
Hard on Desert Ledge. He did not check Agina. He's going into Meyer area, check the shed, and probably going to check the screw attack item location. I missed that pendant, darn it.
I did as well. Yeah, I like the play of leaving Agina here, because you can always just mirror to it after checking Checkerboard Cave. If you're a little bit closer there, you don't have to run all the way back across the overworld. I don't really know which one's faster, but this makes more sense to me as far as checking the faster and more dense spots of locations faster. Oh, Tracker luckily was able to pick that up. Thanks, Relkin. Noticed it was the Ether Medallion to unlock Misery Mire. So Etium does not have that Ether Medallion. Do you recall where that was, HK? I'm gonna say it was somewhere in the wreck ship area, but
Yeah, it was in wreck ship.
don't know where specifically. I can't remember. Oh, does Alucard forget about the boots on the island? I hope not. He might have forgotten that those were there, because this is a lot of walking, knowing that boots are available.
Well, he probably
in the
knows
exact
that
other
they're there,
direction.
but he's like right here. That's probably why he did it, because
Yes, it's just with so much walking.
Yeah. Well, he probably needs the exercise.
And you're pretty close. And the other way, so he's also leaving the portal too, because he could have just basically just took that portal right back to Dark World. And what is it? One screen transition to the right. And swim to get your gloves. Oh, this is where Ether was. It was here at Criteria Power Bombs. That's right.
Yeah. I thought it was in wreck ship.
Yeah. Yeah, so Alucard's gonna have to... I guess he's walking back from here?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Potentially faster than a save and quit.
It makes sense. Kinda.
It does, but with the boots you're able to pretty much get that desert ledge check for no extra time as well. I mean, he doesn't know that the book is on the desert ledge and he could pick that up.
Well, yeah, he does. He knows that book's on.
Oh, he does. That's right. Okay.
Because he had to get his mitts in order to...
Yeah. Yes, I'm not sure I like the early Agina play, but it's pretty marginal either way. You'd be a little closer checking Bombo's tablet into Agina. Etium showing why I don't like the grappling beam. It's a little awkward sometimes, but just a quick dip in the water on his way over to wreck ship.
And I don't think Adam made this check the check to a hobo.
Yeah, I don't believe he did.
So this could be big, or I mean, if he didn't, that's a check that could be big. Maybe. Let's see what we get. Oh, never mind. I got everybody's hopes up. I forgot Adam has not turned off his ice beam yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of issues with it. He had a couple slightly slower rooms around the Upper Norfair area. But at this point, he might just opt not to turn it off. It seems to be his strategy, which is fine.
And Alu going after that book, and then probably going to do the same amount of checks. Now we just got the runners just covering each other's checks, what has already been done.
Yeah, basically.
Which is, they're going to be high-fiving and trying to figure out where to go after this.
Yeah, this is the point, though, where I think we could see Meridia play from Alucard.
Honestly, Desert makes more sense. Like, kinda.
He already checked Agina, and it is only a pendant, so I would shy away from there.
It's 2 items. I mean, it's
yeah,
a quick
but Meridia
check
is a lot of items. I would have to argue that Meridia makes... Bonkrocks and King's Tomb are really quick 2 checks, faster than the desert ones would be, especially with the opening cutscene animation.
Dark Death Mountain.
Dark Death Mountain doesn't have a hook shot, so I don't know if I like this either. No hook shot or cane to get into Turtle Rock.
Well,
but at least it lets him leverage that book, and either if he thinks he's behind, catch up on the things that were,
orphaned.
You think might be available to his opponent, or
he has Super Bunny Cage.
Yeah, he can do Super Bunny. This is just a really awkward Death Mountain trip, I think, because he can't do. He can do Spike Cave. He's got the cape, but he can't do that. Was Hair Basement an item? It was. He can't do the Hair Basement check. He still doesn't have a fire spell. He can't go into Turtle Rock. He can only check one of the locations in Hookshot Cave. So it's a lot of partial clears. Opting not even to go to Super Bunny. Okay.
And Adam working on his Phantoon fight.
Now we gotta be a little careful with his health, since he didn't have the refill from the old man.
Ooh,
barely makes it.
There's a
It's
bottle.
our first bottle.
Now he's gonna go to Sanctuary and check King's Tomb and Bonkrons on his way to Sick Kid, and he will find that flute.
Yeah, that's really good for Alucard. That bottle might be a huge thing. If this wasn't already his plan, that bottle might have been a deciding factor. Which is really interesting.
Where's that Solsky Vision emote? That or a little. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Did. Yeah, he picked up the bombs. I don't think he Adam remembered that he has the bombs now.
Potentially not. For some of these clears, it's faster anyway to use power bombs. Because it clears out chunks of blocks. You can lay it a little earlier than you know, instead of getting all the way up against the blocks you're trying to destroy and then laying
Well,
it.
he used it to clear the way the other. Like he already used he used 2 power bombs to get through an area. I'm just thinking efficiency. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he laid it in the wrong place or forgot, but the more efficient way to do this would have been to use the power bomb to clear out all that debris, open up the right super check, and propel himself up that little gap that you have to bomb yourself up, all in one bomb. But it's a marginal time difference.
Yeah.
Alucard looks like he's not forgetting about the ice rod, which is nice.
He forgot about the bottle.
Oh, he did.
He's probably gonna get the ice rod first, so he doesn't forget about it.
Or he might just not realize that Sig hasn't been checked yet an hour and 40 minutes into the race.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, hopefully that isn't important. Unless we just missed it. It's very possible that I...
Nope, we didn't miss
missed
it.
it.
Chat's even saying something about it.
Looks like Eddie about to get his mushroom here, which I believe turned out to be nothing. He's obviously not going to be able to reset that away. All right, and with Flute, this is a very logical decision for Alucard. I imagine he's going to go into Lower Norfair. No, he doesn't have Varia Suit. I think he's going to check Screw Attack. Did Etium not check Screw Attack?
No, he did not.
I don't recall seeing it. Yeah, Alucard might opt to do Desert Palace for those items. As you mentioned it earlier, it is 2 items that are fairly quick. Even more so when you have Mirror and Flute access to it, so you don't have to go in through the front door. But he is not opting to check Screw Attack or Desert Palace. Where is he going? Yeah, just to point out, just to clarify in chat, the cape did put Spike Cave in logic, so it is logically available. Bottles do not put Spike Cave in logic, but you can use bottles or the contents of them, whether it be potions or fairies, to make that possible.
Meridia a slew of checks up here.
Okay. Yeah, this makes sense to go to Meridia here. He could opt to go through the back door, but it's a little bit of... There's not really anything nearby that he could check on the way there and Link to the Past, so it makes sense just to go in through the front. Probably going to be skipping that red mail since he already has blue and a substantial number of hearts.
Mama Turtle having nothing on the grapple point. And these
Even
checks,
nothing.
something new. We finally get some good.
Yeah, we already know there's nothing else good up here in Rex Ship.
Like, I was excited for some new interesting checks, and we're getting garbage.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit left. And either way, we'll get some progression once we get Dragon killed. Yeah, I just want to echo your point. It does seem like etium very much forgetting about those bombs. Using more power bombs to maneuver instead of regular morph bombs.
A swag net and a energy tank and the... I don't know what you call this area.
The watering hole.
Thank you.
Yeah, it makes sense at this point for Alucard to skip the energy tank with 8 and reserves even. With 8, he can comfortably not have to worry too much about Mother Brain and still go for the stand-up glitch if he opts to do that, if he gets the right beams to make it worth it anyways. A 9th one really doesn't do anything for him at this point. He's got plenty of health, and obviously with Gravity Suit, he can handle all the bosses no problem. He might pick up another one later for the energy refill, if it comes down to it. Or if he is unable to jump over it.
Yeah,
probably try to avoid that one. Usually try to skip over that first item if you don't want it, and it's really difficult to avoid.
That is very true.
Alright, so let's see where etium goes. Where do you think he might be going at this point, HK? Do you think he's going to be going to Meridia as well?
He might.
Around locations.
Yeah. Meridia is the only place he can go. I mean, desert. That and desert. From the top of my head.
Yeah, and he's got the, of course, like Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah.
Spike Cave tablets to check as well, but not a lot of good checks in Link to the Past. Oh, that's right. He skipped Gauntlet earlier, so he's going to clear that out.
Yeah, he's gonna have an easier time than Alu did. Because he has the screw attack going through here. Alu didn't, and Alu only had one reserve tank going through here.
Yeah, one reserve tank, no E-tank, no gravity suit.
Swamp is in logic, but can't get to Argus without hook shot.
Yeah, that's correct. It's unlikely these guys are gonna be double dipping or be
Swamp
without any other when they have other good checks.
Oh, that's half magic.
Okay, that's worth.
Yeah, you can still go. You can still go into Swamp, but no one likes double dipping Swamp. If Maniacal's here, I bet he'll tell you the same thing.
I mean, with boots, it's not nearly as bad.
No.
But it's still not great. Especially that left side where you always have to do that loop around.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess etium does remember that he has bombs, trying to bomb power bomb blocks.
At the time, he does remember.
It just goes to show how, like, honestly, I never thought about those being power bomb blocks. I just know that if I want to break them, I'll lay a power bomb at the top. If I don't want to break them, I'll just fall down the left side where it's a crumble block. You don't really think that those are actually power bomb blocked.
Swamp is a pendant, Maniacal. It's not a pendant. It's a whatchamacallit, crystal. Going for the grapple strats on Dragon.
Ooh,
I love those strats.
Hey, there's a bottle. It's been logically available for quite a while.
Yeah. So Sick Kid's probably a play.
Yeah, so that's etium's first bottle here. And this actually is a good routing for him, knowing that by leaving that gauntlet behind and checking it now, it puts him right by this Criteria Supers location. And he's probably going to opt to go to Waterway from here. We'll see if he goes where he goes here. Oh, no. I guess he's leaving Waterway, going back into Link to the Past. So that is now fully orphaned from him.
Maniacal, I did not get a chance to see your race yesterday. I was tied up with personal endeavors. But I will probably rewatch it, and then I'll message you later about it. How about that? Will that work for you? But anyway, he's got a mushroom to turn in as well. And that was a clean fight of Dragon.
Yeah, it's a nice fried shrimp. Nice and easy with that grapple beam.
And
oh, this is actually really handy. Al was able to pick up that energy tank that he left behind at Batwoon on his way down into the sandpit checks. Doesn't need the max health, but the refill's convenient. Alright, nothing from Sick Kid. Just 20 rupees. Alright, so etium... He might be doing the backdoor Meridia strats here, or he might be going to Swamp. Those are... And he's got the Bombos tablet as well. Those are like the three reasons he'd be coming in through the portal this direction. It's like Bombos tablet into probably Swamp. You wouldn't come all this way for just the one check, I wouldn't imagine, so... I guess we'll see that Swamp play. Hoping for the hook shot there.
And Alu going for a gravity jump into Shaq-Tool.
Yeah, this is not an easy one. This is not in logic. He does have the grapple beam. You need either high jump or space jump as well to make this in logic, but nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
That gravity jump is very awkward since you can't just stand on flat ground and be patient with the timing. You have to just go for it. And I don't believe Morph Ball Bombs put that in logic either, because getting that bomb jump started is difficult. I could be incorrect on that one.
I love Shaq-Tool. Now, I don't know if you've heard this theory or not, and I would like to share it with the class if you'd like to hear the theory of Meridia. Ace?
What's that? The theory?
The theory of how Meridia was made. If you would like to hear it. Because I was just curious. I was curious myself. Oh, I missed that item.
Oh, it was just a reserve tank.
Okay.
If it's not too long of a story, maybe.
It's not.
It's like a lengthy tale.
No, it's not. Have you ever played Metroid Zero Mission?
I have not actually.
Okay. Well, in that game, after you beat Mother Brain and you escape, the space pirates shoot your plane down, and do you care if I spoil it for you? I'm gonna spoil the last half of the game.
Fine for me.
Okay then. Anyway, the space pirates shoot down Samus's ship. She's suitless. You go get your suit back. You go back through the pirate ship and whatnot, and you escape, and boom, their ship blows up. Well, through that game of collecting power-ups, you go through an area where you see a rebel of an old ship. Oh, there's Varia, by the way, and a lamp.
Okay, so this sand pit is very valuable.
Anyway,
Left sand pit.
through that game, while you're going through the game collecting power-ups and escaping from the pirate ship to get your stuff back, you see wreckage of another ship, pieces of an old ship and whatnot. In that game, Meridia is not present. Well, after you destroy the pirate ships, theories that I've read say that once that mother ship or that space pirate ship blew up, it created a crater which let a bunch of water in. I mean, a bunch of water in. And it also exposed some wrecked ship. Now, this is just a theory. Shack-Tool was put there when the pirates came back to Zebes. When the pirates came back to Zebes, Shack-Tool was put into Meridia to dig up the old pirate ship, and the wrecked ship that you see is a different ship. And Alucard heading to Plasma Beam, and Etium is heading into Meridia.
Yeah, luckily Etium's going to get some rewards here. We'll see if he opts to do the same routing that Alucard did, checking the sand pits after Dragon, or if he chooses to do it before. You see some runners do one versus the other. Depends on, in some cases, where they plan on going after the Meridia clear, or what else is available.
Mm-hmm.
Nice short charge there by Alucard to get out. He could have used bomb jumps, using his morph ball bombs to get out of there logically, so that it is logically required or available check. But obviously the short charge, if he can pull it off, is faster.
Mm-hmm. Well, Meridia had the Varia suit. That is so worth. And our logical way into Pod and Eastern, which means that you were expected to go to Hera, go up there, get your wonderful suits, your wonderful gravity suit, come back down to Meridia, get the lamp, and then go back into Eastern and Pod.
Yeah, I mean, logically, that's not really that bad of a chain when you think about it. The gravity suit's right there by the Upper Norfair entrance,
Mm-hmm.
which is how you get into Meridia through that, through that breakable tube. So
Yeah.
it could be a lot worse of a logic chain, but
Oh, yeah.
These runners obviously opting to jump in the Crystal Dungeons first, both of them, and clear those out, which is understandable. In this case, didn't really get any efficiency since they had to do both anyway. They weren't able to skip finding the lamp wherever that was. That's really one of the big time saves if the lamp ends up being somewhere just
Off the wall.
You don't even want to check.
I mean,
Or can't
my
check.
my suggestion of going into desert would have made sense, but there probably wasn't going to be any that progression in there.
Yeah, the density of Meridia makes it a lot more valuable, and it's Dragon is kind of a crystal dungeon, if you want to think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so yeah, Alucard jumping straight out of... That was it's nicely timed that he got the very suit and the lamp right at the end of his checks. So
Yeah.
he could just leave and jump straight into Upper Norfair.
Well, also that the location of how he went around doing it. If he would have checked that sand pit first, he wouldn't have reset it out of Shack-Tool. He would have been stuck with that Shack-Tool check, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he might have though. Oh, you're saying if you did left then right? Yeah, you don't really want to do left sandpit into shack tool, because the right sandpit's closer. You know, it's one less room filled with evirs and sand that you have to clear your way through effectively. So
We'll see. When I usually route, I do left sandpit first and then do right on my way back through. Just for the simple fact of I go up. I make a weird route, and it's I think weirdly so.
yeah, Meridian's
not gonna
tough
go
route, that's for sure.
I do left first. I don't know why. I always have.
Yeah, I want to point out Alucard stumbled a little bit in that. I don't even know what you call that room, by Crumble Tower on his way into Croc. Looked like he was pumping, and you don't want to pump on a lot of sloped ground. It can be very difficult to do, well, not just difficult, but you can stumble and lose all your momentum. Sometimes it's just a little habit, though, trying to go fast. But by doing Crocomire first, it looks like Alucard's kind of committing himself to a full clear of Upper Norfair. If you intend not to do Crocomire, you could have started with Frog Speedway into Bubble Mountain, or even down to Lower North, which is out of logic without the space jump.
Mm-hmm.
But it can sometimes get you to avoid doing this Crocomire loop altogether. But at this point, this is consistent with Alucard's style of play so far this seed. It's effectively been full clear as efficiently as
Adam
possible.
just resetted.
He saved, right? He saved in Aqueduct and is just resetting.
Yeah, but
the sandpits. That's reasonable to me. Yeah, he'll grab Very on his way out. This is what I would do. I think this is the right call. If you're checking the sandpits first, you want to check both of them, and you don't want to make any more loops than you have to. So he's going to check left first, reset, check the right sandpit, find out it's nothing. He'll probably opt to not go into Shack Tool at this point. Okay, yeah. So he's resetting again, and then he'll go to Dragon and then grab the left sandpit items on his way back. So he's not losing much time. Just one extra reset is the big difficulty. So better than a whole loop around back through Main Street, up Everest, and into Aqueduct again for another
loop.
Before, yeah, that whole loop. Yeah, as you point out, Gold Sword, it's handy, especially with
Silver. They're decked out in Link to the Past. I don't know if Alu picked up the red mail or not.
I believe they both skipped the red mail. With the health they have in blue mail, it shouldn't need it. And yeah, that butter sword actually is not really that valuable. I looked at what dungeons we have left that are required, and the two most advantageous bosses to have butter sword on are Cold Stare and Trinex. Or Vitreous if you don't have silver arrows, potentially, but with what they have, they might not have to do Cold Stare or Trinex.
Mm-hmm.
And silver arrows on Vitreous is pretty much free at this with the skills of these runners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Alucard opting to go through Lower Norfair with the flute. This makes sense. I maybe would have liked to have seen him do. Nope, he's remembered his bottle check. The sick kid. Okay, that might have just been weighing on his mind this whole time. Fortunately for him, it's nothing. I'm guessing we'll see a Lower Norfair check. It might have made sense to do Lower Norfair if he's going to flute there anyway, into Upper Norfair on the way out. But maybe just hoping to find something there at that Crocomire loop that...
Looking at the items that they have, They are they could go mode Link, or not Link to the Past, but Super Metroid.
Yeah, for sure. Space jump. They still have a couple things they could lock of items, like space jump in particular could unlock Shack Tool logically. So for etium, that might be required. I'm not sure if he's, comfortable with that gravity jump or what any other method to get to that item. And then this item here behind GT is also space jump lock. Sorry, what were you saying, HK? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I missed that item that he power bombed.
I didn't see the right one. The left one I saw was just a missile pack. So
I missed the right one. Apparently, chat's saying missiles.
Okay, yeah, not required. It's a quick reset. He's going to refill his super missiles, most importantly here. So he's got plenty for Ridley without even thinking about it, without having to farm for any amount of time. And I imagine he's going to go straight back into Lower Norfair. Having to infinite bomb jump up a couple of rooms is a little slow, but
I think that's probably what he's looking for. Some like movement helpful. Like he's got speedway. Looks like he's going down. Oh, never mind. I think
yeah, he's gonna go back to Norfair. Either way, he's going back to Norfair. Those are his two logical checks here that make a lot of sense. Are the Upper Norfair clear to Bubble Mountain and through all of that, or the Lower Norfair clear into Upper Norfair?
It makes more sense to go from lower to upper.
Yeah, overall it's faster. The only disadvantage is that he might be missing out on like high jump or space jump in the Bubble Mountain area that would speed up the bottom. We actually might see him freeze the pirates in worst room in the game. That's always nice to see that. It's a little tricky to do. It's faster than the infinite bomb jump. This he could no choice.
I mean, he does have It's in logic technically, isn't it?
Yep. Yes.
And with that screw attack, it's going to be a lot safer for him to do the worst room in the game and a few other checks in Norfair.
Yeah, safety's not as concerned at all here. It's just the speed of these infinite bomb jumps. And it's worth noting, as pointed out in chat, he could have opted to kill Gold Chorizo and then use the speed booster to get up that room right there instead of doing the infinite bomb jump. I'm guessing the reason he didn't is the amount of super missiles he had. He would have had to use about he had like 35 or so super, so he would definitely have had to farm up before Ridley or go into the Ridley fight with just charge ice and spazer, which isn't the best combo. So this is certainly a lot more comfortable, even if it's potentially a tiny bit slower.
And he's trying to get rid of this one little pirate so he could safely bomb jump up here. That's the last thing you need as a pirate.
Yeah, even the Namahe shooting fire at you at the top can get in your way sometimes, but
yeah,
the pirates are just, you gotta kill them. Or at the very least freeze them.
His ice beam is still up, and Etten getting his half magic.
Oh wow, I didn't know if he's gonna make that last bomb jump.
It was cutting it close.
Yeah.
With no, it's weird not seeing the spacer beam without the wave beam. It is just one of those things that you're just used to seeing. Ha! Oh man!
I didn't put that grapple beam to use. Smartly avoiding getting stuck in that sand. I think that's probably his biggest concern here. If you sink to the bottom of that sand, the sand is very awkward and unintuitive in a lot of ways. But if you get stuck down there are spikes underneath it in this room, and with no Varia suit, that does a considerable amount of damage.
Really? I know about the spikes, but I didn't know without the. I did not know about the damage increase due to not having.
Yeah, the Varia suit, I believe, cuts it in half. So it would be twice as painful since he opted to reset out of the sandpit where the suit was to pick up on his way back.
all we're looking for Link to the Past, as far as we know, is the hook shot.
And the fire rod, as well as...
Why a fire rod?
For Skullwoods.
Skullwoods, yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. Hook shot and a cane.
Yes, yeah. That's what I was about to say, as well as the cane from the back of Meyer.
I forgot about that item. Like, I'm looking at it and I just... Like,
oh, yeah,
that called again?
That happens to me all the time.
Like,
Especially
I know what you are.
Especially when I'm playing, I think of it like, oh, I'm almost in go mode. This, and then this, and this, and this. Okay, that's like 6 items, never mind. The more you think about it, the more you see that you're still missing.
A blonde moment.
Right, this should be a nice, comfy Ridley fight with 66 super missiles.
Yeah, it takes...
As long as he doesn't miss 37 or more shots, then he's free.
Yeah.
Just 30 supers. No high jump can make it a little bit more difficult to manipulate Ridley's AI, but it's still not too bad, and you can just screw attack and jump through Ridley as long as he's not hitting the tail. Very nicely done.
That was a very nice, clean Ridley fight.
Only 4 extra supers used. Still plenty to spare.
Adam trying to get to... And trash. These trash items everywhere else is just driving me nuts.
Yeah. That's interesting. So there's a couple different ways to get up there to those two items. Obviously, the vanilla game, I believe, intended you to get Spring Ball first before getting those. But you can do a bomb jump, which is what Etium was trying initially and having a little trouble with. You can do a jump and morph really quickly, which is... It's kind of quick to do on the inputs, so it's a little bit difficult until you get more comfortable with it. But he also did a wall jump with an instant morph. So it's really interesting that he opted to do that, and really looked like he got it the first attempt that he tried that. So good for him.
He's not doing his Shack tool check. He probably does not know how to get in there without space jump.
Yeah, either doesn't know how or just doesn't feel like he can get it quickly enough to make it worth it when that's another consideration in a race setting. Yeah, that sandpit issue there, it's nice to see that different runners have different skill sets. They can choose to use very different strategies for the same exact rooms and item pickups based on what they're comfortable with. So we see Etium's finished clearing out Meridia, and he's going to, looks like probably
Death Mountain. And that's a wave beam.
All right, so we're up to a pretty considerable amount of damage at this point now.
Oh, I hate killing these stupid little fly things. This is why I like Ice Beam. Because if you freeze them, you can still see.
Yeah, Alucard doesn't have too much trouble with it, though. It can be really awkward getting up over the fingers of the claws of that structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's very awkward. And you thought we were through the dark rooms when we got the lamp, but I guess not.
Of course. You know, with that grapple beam that puts wave beam in logic, or X-ray room in logic.
Oh, that's true. We haven't seen X-ray yet, or Waterway. Those are the two outstanding, out of the way Super Metroid checks that are still out there. Looks like we do have Etium opting to fight Gold Trizo. Yeah, this is a little bit... Oh, wait. I'm not sure what this beam combo does damage-wise to know if how efficient this is. But obviously, resetting, coming back around is a little bit slow. I think it might still be faster in this case, since he was a little bit shorter on super missiles than Alucard was.
Alu has 7. Like, he's missing 2 packs, so.
Oh, I just meant with the number that he had going into the fight. Etium's, I think he had like 25 instead of the 35 that Alucard had at the start of that fight. So.
I think Etium has been a little bit more. Like, he's been using ammo a lot more than what Alu has been by a considerable amount.
Yeah, that's one of those things that it comes with experience, like your resource management, your ability to be as efficient as possible with every shot that you take. Just comes with experience and years of playing the game. And not to say that Etium isn't experienced by any means, but I know Alucard has quite a great deal of time playing Super Metroid.
Yeah.
So he's definitely picked up on some tricks there. And he's also picked up a little bit more. You know, his capacities are a little higher than Etium's too, so when you pick up more, you're going to have more as well. Etium's at around, I think it was 90, 60. I guess we'll see again shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 90 and 60 for missiles and supers, as opposed to 110 and 70. So it doesn't look like anything of value in upper fair at all. So got a couple checks left. Alright, and nothing over here at the Norfair Reserve check. So where's our progression here?
Desert.
Yeah, desert or swamp. Those seem to be the likely options. Swamp does have more checks than desert, but you can do all of them in desert. Oh, never mind. There's our hook shot. So swamp is the option. Bubble Mountain. Alucard picked it up here at Bubble Mountain. Looks like Etium's gone on his way through Cathedral. He'll be getting that shortly. I do want to point out, too, kind of glossed over it, but it looked like Etium, as opposed to trying to bomb jump through the screw attack room and bomb jump through worst room in the game and just take those slower routes through lower Norfair, just recognizing the density of upper Norfair, choosing to do this first. And
there's our fire rod.
It's going to pay off. Yeah, because he's getting hook shot, and he must have already got that fire rod. I think we missed it. So that's my mistake there. I didn't see Etium pick that up, but I'm certain he did. Actually, no, he might have come through Frog Speedway and not through Cathedral. No, because he was in the... Yeah, I saw him in the room after the Cathedral. I just missed that item check. That's my mistake. I got so distracted by the shiny, springy hook shot. I missed the shiny, hot fire rod. Okay, this is an interesting play from Alucard here. Opting to go through Dark Death Mountain before jumping into Skullwoods or Swamp Palace. I guess they might have gotten both items out of Skullwood. This is dense.
It's a more dense area.
Yeah, the only problem with this is that you then are like taunted into potentially going into Turtle Rock. You know, you're right here. You're never going to be closer than you are right now. Oh, he doesn't have cane. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm forgetting that he doesn't have cane. Can't do Turtle Rock.
He's just looking at it in his ether. Looks like Adam is farming up some super missiles. Oh, there's our plasma.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would take the time to farm at this point. if you're in Etium's case, since he's already found the hook shot and the fire rod, he could potentially just put off Lower Norfair for even longer, hope for that plasma beam that we did just see Alucard pick up. Because with plasma beam, you don't really need that many. You don't really need super missiles for Ridley. He's got the rest of the beams except for wave. Yeah, Etium did not pick up wave yet. But I think he would. I think he'd be a little bit more in a better spot if he were to skip the farm, follow those other item chains, hope for something to give him more mobility through Lower Norfair.
Yeah.
Space jump or high jump, and then farm if he has to do later on before the Ridley fight. Okay. Yeah, one thing I also didn't realize was that Alucard was still out of magic. He could have opted to bonk that tree there, the light world version of that tree, just walked by to get his magic refill. But the free full magic refill in Super Bunny Cave is also kind of on the way Alucard was routing, so that makes sense as well. Another just a little bit of an incentive to do East Dark Death Mountain at the time he was there.
We're a cane away from go mode.
Yeah, cane away from go mode. We still have a handful of things we could need to get to the cane. Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe we're pretty much done with fetch quests, aren't we?
He can check pedways here.
Good, but he can't be there.
That can't.
Since Turtle Rock is one of the pendants.
Yeah, that's true. Sadly, Pet is dead.
So I imagine Etium's going to be going into Crocomire. Alucard starts his Mothula fight. Using the Fire Rod to get him to ricochet off the ceiling. Fire Rod surprisingly only does Master Sword damage. A lot of people kind of, I wouldn't say overvalue the damage it does, but it's definitely useful as a utility item. Yeah, it does less than the Tempered Sword. It does half of what the Tempered Sword slashes do. And in this case, in the randomizer, half of what the Butter Sword slashes do. But it is really useful as a utility item. When Mothula gets kind of stuck on the ceiling, it does cause him to recoil a little bit more aggressively than by hitting him with a sword. So Alucard does a nice job mixing that in with a couple slashes to get him done quickly. Yeah, if you have only Fighter Sword, you're better off with using Fire Rod, but if you have Master or Tempered, sometimes it's more dangerous than it's worth to try to use that as your damage source. So we see Etium doing his Dark Death Mountain checks here. So this will be nice for him getting his Plasma Beam. It's going to make him feel a lot more comfortable with that Ridley fight, more than likely. If nothing else can avoid a little bit of farming time, trying to get his supers up.
Yeah, and Alu heading into Swamp.
Yeah, this makes the most sense for what he has available, I think. Might as well do the Crystal Dungeon. Oh, and he hasn't done Bombos yet, so he's going to check that on the way in. Pretty quick detour. This is a good call. I imagine Etium will be right behind with these checks. Probably in the same order. You want to hope to get to go mode Swamp Palace, but it's not a big deal.
I missed that item on out of the screen.
It was $20, I think. Just rupees. Yeah, we'll likely see Ella do the back of Skull, or not Skullwoods, sorry, Swamp Palace. The back of Swamp Palace before the left side, since he has only one item out of go mode. If you're committed to full clearing it, it's depending on item placement, tends to be faster to do left side first, but in this case, you're only looking for one item, so you're really hoping to see it in the back, and then getting the bail on the left side.
I think Adam is heading towards. Oh, what is that place?
Yeah, he's just finishing up. Yeah, he's finishing up the rest of his Dark Death Mountain checks. I believe this is all that he can do up here that's remaining. Here are basements still available. Neither runners opted to check that, since they both have fire rods. So that could be an interesting one that's been kind of orphaned here. Well, never mind. There is the king. We are officially in go mode.
After 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Yep. And it wasn't even hookshot locked here in Swamp Palace. It wasn't even hammer locked in Swamp Palace. Although that was our first Dark World access. And it looks like Etium shouldn't be too far behind finding that cane, but unfortunately for him, there's not really much else he can do with how directly on the path that is. There's not really any way he can route it better to save any time in these two dungeons, and hopefully he's comfortable with that infinite bomb jump enough to be able to do lower Norfair without continuing to search for space jump or high jump. Yeah, it's hard to tell just by the brief time he was there if he's not comfortable with it or just knows it would be slower. You know, obviously wants to do it a faster way if that's going to be an option. And unfortunately, we don't get to see Diver Down from Alucard here, but not having to check those two chests means it's a lot less valuable. He doesn't have to go to that screen anyway, so it's only a few seconds faster if you know it in this scenario.
That is very true.
I'm guessing we'll see it and a check of both those chests from Etium, even if he does to go mode or mostly go mode swamp, on the off chance that he might find space jump or high jump. Very nice molecular kill from Etium. Very nice Argus kill from Alucard. As mentioned earlier, these bosses are pretty much pushovers with how much firepower our runners have. And we don't even have to do, like, the two most difficult bosses, the most deadly ones. Well, depends on how you look at it, but with Silver Arrow's Vitreous is not deadly.
Oh, no. And he's gonna go mode Misery Mire.
Yeah, might not be able to save a lot of time here. Depending on where the big key is, he might end up clearing quite a bit of it anyway.
Looks like Adam got turned into a bunny temporarily.
Yeah, everyone with the bridge and the Gibdos and the bunny. As soon as you dash in just the wrong spot and hit one of those spikes or bumpers, it throws you off and you get hit by the anti-fairy, or sorry, bunny beam.
You know,
you see a bird toss. They're rarely seen these days.
Flash Misery Mire has been the vanilla way in.
Yeah, it does seem. I mean, it's pretty common only 3 medallions. The one you don't really want is Quake, because then you have to actually kill the bird, so he doesn't pester you while the cutscene is happening.
Oh, really? He can kill you while the cutscene's happening?
He can't, but what'll happen is he'll fly around you, and when done opening, you'll take damage from the bird because he doesn't get affected by the Quake since he's a flying type. Really neat of the developers to actually factor that in. Alright, will we see the fish room strats is the real question here. Oh, looks like we are. We're going to the fish room. Also rarely seen. A favorite routing option of Alucard.
Why do you call it the fish room?
This room right here has the like that structure in the middle. Kind of looks like a fish bones. And there's like a head and a tail. Yeah, if you see it all like zoomed out, it really looks like a fish.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it allows you to pick up a key and hit the crystal switch so you can get to the next chest Alucard's about to open a little bit more quickly.
And there's our high jumps. There's our high jump boots.
I think I'm behind again.
Yeah, mine did the same thing.
But yeah, the fish room strats got him to that high jump faster. It allows you to postpone doing the vanilla big key chest for as long as possible, basically. But there's certainly some disadvantages.
Oh, Adam is in go mode, by the way. I forgot to point that out when he picked up his red cane.
Yeah, as long as he's comfortable with that IBJ in Lower Norfair, he is. And we are seeing the diver down strat from him. It's like he's doing what seems to be the more popular randomizer setup that I am an avid opponent of. I don't really like it. I feel like for many people it tends to be a little slower and a little bit more finicky, but he does a nice job getting down there without having to drain the water, getting both those chests. Unfortunately, not getting anything good.
So there is items in left side swamp, so...
Yeah, getting the compass and the map. Did we see the big key?
I think it... no. I don't think so. Again, I was having trouble seeing things when... both times when Alu was going through it and him, so I missed it.
Well, I mean, Alu didn't open most of these chests and swamps since...
Yeah.
Yeah, he just go-moded immediately.
Apparently Chad's saying the big key was found, so...
I think that is regarding Misery Mire. Because the big key was in the compass chest of Misery Mire.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because of the more common and statistically quicker route for finding the big key would have allowed you to get that a lot quicker than the way Alucard did. Would have high jump boots. So the fish room strat slowed down this dungeon for him, but sped up his Super Metroid movement for the remainder of the game.
We'll never know what was in left side swamp. Now, Alucard is going to be heading up to Death Mountain to fight our favorite pig. Which brings me up the question, where do you think the big key is going to be in Ganon's tower, Ace?
Oh, let's say 19. To likely be behind Ice Arm most, just so we get to see more action.
Of course. I have to go with 8. I always go with 8.
we'll see where 8 lines up. We'll see where 19 lines up. It may very be different depending on how Alucard routes it.
Could be in 23.
I'm not sure that's possible in this case.
No, it's not. But I just
that's only reserved for when there's something missing, like the cane or fire rod, and the runners have to leave and come back in.
Alu getting dead rocked into trying to get to the portal to Turtle Rack to use that to get there faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's being stubborn, just trying to push through instead of using his hook shot. But either way, that's a really annoying little cluster they forming around the stairs. And sometimes hook shotting that makes it worse, because then you get one frozen in your path.
I think it was the shades I was commentating with one night. He said it's the most trolly enemy outside of a boss. And Link to the Past. To quote him, I think that's what he said. Because if you think about it, there's no, like, you hit them and they're stuck behind something, or they're just gonna be up on you 24/7 until, you know, they decide to go wherever they wanted.
Yeah, and I want to point out, oh wow, there's the big key, number 1.
Number 1.
Right, as long as Alu remembers to get a small key, which looks like he is. He would have mirrored out if he was gonna go straight up.
Well, Awesome Knight just got is the winner of the big key guessing game.
Yeah,
that
we also had a guess of $1 from Seagrifter, which is close, but I don't. I don't know if the dollar sign invalidates it.
I don't think you can bribe Ganon with $1 to go up his castle. I mean, you got to think how much money was it took to build this thing. It's like you got a key.
Ooh, nice job, Etium. Set up a spooky action glitch here in his room. And I want to point out, he did get the big key a lot faster, but didn't get the high jump boots by doing like the standard routing where you check the first 2 chests on the right and then the compass chest third. So that's
does
really
he have the
unfortunate
wave
for
beam?
Etium. He does not have the wave beam. The wave beam was somewhere on the way out of Lower North.
Oh yeah.
I want to say
that up.
Fireflies?
He probably, yeah, fireflies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably won't pick that up either because he knows he's in go mode. But without that high jump, he's probably going to be looking for the screw attack or the space jump.
Yeah, we'll see. I imagine he knows the infinite bomb jump. It's just getting it started can be troublesome. It's as counterintuitive as it is. It's almost easier to do by jumping into it first. Like, it looks more technical, looks more challenging, but starting from the ground is just really awkward to get the timing for some people, myself included. So once he gets it started, he shouldn't have too much trouble.
That was a clean Lammo 2 fight from Alucard.
But yeah, being missing wave beam, high jump, space jump, I believe any of those 3 can be in Ganon's Tower. Since for this particular seed, none of those are progression items, so...
Well, we won't know what's in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah,
we saw a few chests and then it was like, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Etium's still hoping to find one of those, probably. That's why he's opted for doing... He's just going to go finish Link to the Past. Hope to get something to make his Lower Norfair experience a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah.
He might opt to check a couple chests at the top of the tower. He might opt to do Dark Magician strats, where he goes the Stalfos room first. So he might check a few more chests than Alucard did. Hopefully, if he does, he gets something to make it worth his while. But yeah, in the meantime, Alucard is doing a terrific job of plowing through the gauntlet, quick Landmo 2 fight, remembers to get the key from the mini Helmosaur there. And yeah, absolute full go mode for Alucard, not checking a single chest, even the ones that are pretty close on the way here. Might opt to do the validation chest if he can get through Moldorm. So he's gonna have to take a second attempt at it though. So both runners having at least one Moldorm fall in this seed.
And Adam finding that easy big key right there.
Yeah, makes sense. Not surprised that he went right side first, since it's a pretty standard route through Ganon's Tower to do that. Equipping Hammer suggests that he is going to go a little deeper here. At the very least, to the Stalfos room. It is 4 quick chests. An additional key would make it so he doesn't have to kill the Helmosaur. Probably just looking for that space jump or high jump, which unfortunately he was so close to high jump and didn't open it.
And I noticed he hasn't done extra to go down to Grapple Beam location. He doesn't have Gold Sword either.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't need Gold Sword. I'm sure that's not...
It's not priority, but I mean, it's some checks that he does not have, though.
Right. Yeah, I fully expect we'll be seeing probably all 5 checks at the top of Ganon's Tower from etium. And then just jumping into Lower Norfair and making it work with that infinite bomb jump. Based on the things he's checked and the things he's skipped so far, that's what seems likely. That he looks like he's comfortable doing it, but just doesn't want to if he doesn't have to, and we'll take a few quick checks to possibly be able to circumvent that.
And we just got our daily cheese fact from Ganon. Now with the Gold Sword, with the item loadout Alu has, it's gonna be a very, very quick Ganon fight. Already on the 3rd phase.
Absolutely, just 6 slashes for phase 1 and 2. 1 for each of the times he stops teleporting here for phase 3. And then 4 quick silver arrows. Won't even need to worry about Torch Glitch. Doesn't really save any time with silvers.
Really?
Yeah, depending on how you do it, it's a lot of times faster to freeze Ganon in a very thick position by intentional, and then hitting him with a triple.
He did get the Torch Glitch though.
Yeah, if he had waited, he might have been able to freeze Ganon into position and got a double or triple there, but it's really minimal. It's sometimes you can't get it depending on the warps. It's pretty much a wash either way. Right, unlike without silvers.
Could we get 1G in chat for Alucard?
Yeah, G to Alucard. Finishing up Link to the Past. He's just got Turian and Mother Brain to go. Probably going to be foregoing the refill at the ship. Turning off Screw Attack in preparation for Zebetite skip.
And with this loadout, he's not going to have any problems at all. I forgot he turned off Screw Attack and running right into that bomb wall.
Oh, I missed what was in those chests. I'm assuming etium checked those last 2. Nothing in the pre-Moldorm 2 chest. Etium with a nice job on Moldorm 2. Able to get through without a fall.
I missed the validation chest.
Was 300 rupees.
Ah.
These Metroid rooms are some of my favorite to watch. Every seed, just how everyone does them, just slightly differently. In some of the ways you can just blaze through and actually keep your momentum. There's so many inputs when you're first playing the game. It just always blows my mind how fast people are able to get through them.
Let's see if Alu does the the baby skip.
I don't believe he knows how to do the baby skip. Which explains the intentional damage here to make. I imagine if he didn't have to turn Plasma Beam on for Turian, he would have opted the menu here and maybe turn off a suit with his screw attack. But I'm not sure.
And Adam is on his Ganon fight.
Yeah, Etium had a really nice Aga 2 fight. I think it was only 3 cycles. And he should have... Oh, missing the 1-in-1. Okay. I think he was just 1 hit away from the 1 cycle phase 2 on this Ganon fight. Yeah, you can still do the fight just as fast with Tempered Sword. It is a little bit trickier.
And getting that Zeb skip.
Very nice. First try Zeb skip from Alucard. Alucard starting his Mother Brain 2. Etium finishes up Ganon. Get your G's in chat. Single G's for Etium.
Or lowercase GG, whichever you prefer.
I like the GG over 2. Make it a math equation. Because I'm not a nerd. Alucard setting up for the stand-up glitch.
I'm scared to do the stand-up glitch.
Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't save a whole ton of time, so if you're not comfortable, or especially if you don't have X-ray and you're new to it, it's a good idea probably to avoid doing it. But if you know when to jump, really the most dangerous part, and for me anyway, is this next part where you can get frozen on the ground as the baby detaches. Hopefully Alu doesn't have that happen. Good job making sure he's in the air at that time where you get downed again.
I was watching, I was commentating one of the weeklies once, and I forgot who it was. And they did they got the stand-up glitch, and they glitched out.
Yeah, it definitely happens. It happens to runners of any skill every now and again. Just like a Ganon, the better you are, the less likely it is, but everyone can be a victim. Also, I want to point out, Etium doing a fantastic job with those like double bomb IBJs. That's almost objectively harder, but he does a fantastic job. Still slower than having space jump, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, getting the rhythm for that's a little unintuitive. Opting to use power bombs to clear out these pirates. As Alucard waits to begin his escape. I can't imagine we'll see an animal save. I'm actually surprised that Shacktool got to live. Wait, did Shacktool die? Oh, I didn't see that. I know he didn't kill him on the way out since he didn't leave after resetting that item away. Nice, Etium getting the IBJ up. Not getting knocked off course by that Namahe. And there's the finish. GG's to Alucard2004. The winner of this match advancing into brackets. The official SRL time is a 2:49.48.
My mic's been muted.
That's what's going on? Okay.
Yeah, my mic
heard
was
you in a
muted.
second.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Alu in here and whatnot. GG, Alu.
Hey there. Thank you.
GG.
Thanks, Ace.
So, what do you think of this lovable seed that you had to deal with?
Where to start? It just felt like everything was just scattered in so many different places, and every single zone that I went to, I last location where it was.
You were following the logic.
Yeah, I mean, things felt pretty good, honestly, like, early on. Other than my execution, which I thought throughout was kind of subpar. I felt like, for the most part, like, my route was good, skipping wreck ship early and going down and, you know, chasing Mirror and Hammer, although that didn't end up leading to anything immediately other than gravity, which, I mean, I guess you just had to go to the sand pit. Like, that's really what the game wanted you to do.
Well, the route divergence came when after you did the Brim loop, you decided to go down Red Tower, and Edom decided, or you went back up to your ship, refueled, and went down. He decided to continue from Brim and went down to Red Tower, and he ran out of power bombs.
Yeah, Etium had dipped Blue Bryn Star first, and then went through Green Bryn Star, and then down, and kind of left those three at the top of Red Tower. But yeah, unfortunately, he didn't have the bombs for Kraid to get his glove.
Oh, wow.
He also didn't have the bombs to do high jump either, to get his charge beam and his the other item that was over there.
The Quake, which ended up being useful for the turtle room and pod, but otherwise not helpful.
That sucks. Yeah, I mean, there are a couple places you can farm power bombs, like off the caterpillars at the top of Red Tower, or like.
Yeah. But he never went up to go to that.
X-ray. Yeah, exactly. I understand. Yeah, You can. There's like one B-Tom you can farm in Red Tower. I guess, but that's pretty hard to get to.
Yeah.
And when we saw
nice.
that, and when we saw that lamp, and when we saw that lamp inside of that sand pit, the game really wanted you to go to Meridia, double dip Meridia kinda, just to go backtrack, just for your lamp, just to get logical access to Pod and
yeah, and Eastern, which didn't really have anything. Which it felt so good, like getting the 5/6s out of the way. I was like, I'm just gonna route this as efficiently as possible. So, you know, I went to Hype Cave and I went to Pod and Eastern, and you know, I don't need a lamp to do that, and I had plenty of health and stuff. So I had Quake. It's a really nice item to have, turns out. So, you know, once I was done with that, I was gonna separate the pyramid with the pyramid fairy check and do catfish and stuff later. But then I was like, I ended up getting speed in the back of Escape, so maybe I should be in Wreck Ship right now. So I was like, it's so easy to just save, quit, reset to the ship, and just do that. So I just figured I would just knock that out. I was really torn between going back into Link to the Past like I did and going to like Thieves, Village of Outcasts, and then routing like kind of around the world with the big bomb over to Catfish Zora versus doing Criteria Supers, Waterway, X-Ray, and then going to Meridia. Like that was another route that I had really thought of, and I was really torn between those two. And I just decided to go Link to the Past.
Yeah, it seems like the Link to the Past route ended up a little better than that would have, I'm imagining, because... Well, actually, maybe not.
I did get Grapple, which let me do Shack Tool. So like, that was the positive, but it wasn't good anyways.
The advantage the other way around is you would have went to Meridia for Fire Rod before going into Skull Woods the first trip.
Well, I probably would have just.
It kind of made you loop around
and done Swamp and Skull Woods. It probably would have been a lot faster completion.
What do you think of that Mitz location? Zora.
It felt bad, honestly, but at the same time, like we were struggling to get money so much in the early game that I didn't expect etium to have gotten that early, unless they hula-handed far.
He did hula-hand, but he still put it off before his first like big clear through Brinstar and SM. So he got it a little bit before you did, but not a whole lot faster.
Yeah, he went up to Zora. He did catfish Zora. He once he got that Moon Pearl, since he didn't have I forgot what item he did not have at the time, and you did, but he went through.
I think it was the gloves.
Yeah, well he as soon as he got the glove, he chased the glove.
Okay.
He chased the gloves and went around and did he did Graveyard Ledge into Catfish into Zora, and that put him ahead. Like, you were still fumbling. Best way I could, fumbling around with your logic checks, which in a sense made sense in what you had at the time compared to what he had, because he probably felt really behind because that glove was literally right there inside of Kraid and he couldn't check it.
I just tried to be thorough and route efficiently, and just ended up that Catfish and Zora, I guess Zora really being Clincher, had the progression, which is really annoying. I probably need to learn some splash deletion or something, because you needed your mitts there in order to get your flippers to go back and get your book. Yeah, which didn't end up really being important, but like
the thing about that is though that by killing Armos Knight, it messes up that value for the splash deletion. So etium tried that but was unable to get it because he had already done the Armos kill.
Oh, okay.
You have to do a reset. I don't know if a soft reset works, but a hard reset for sure fixes that variable or whatever and allows you to do it. So he had the same difficulty due to having killed Armos. And there's some ways to fix it if you're knowledgeable and have the right items, but without Cane and Lamp and Fire Rod, the magic items that can do that, I don't really know how.
Yeah.
Well,
Could have done other fake.
they are
flippers.
magical.
Yeah, I mean with boots, could have done that or just fake flippered, I guess. So.
Oh, that reminds me. So what was your decision to head over to Agina instead of immediately going to get those boots? I thought that was an interesting.
It was
Interesting
kind of
check.
an early. It was just an early check that I had available to me for a long time, and I wanted the boots, but I was like, when else am I coming over here? I don't have the flute yet, because flute was behind the boots apparently. So, I just decided, you know, I'm here. I might as well check it. I've been routing thoroughly all this time. I don't want to just like leave something behind and get screwed, you know. So I just checked it. I just checked everything, basically. That's what I was doing.
After you got done with Spike Cave, did you forget about the bottle check, or?
I did forget about it, and I also forgot about Hera Basement for a while. And then it dawned on me later, but
Yeah, because you went back up to check Spike Cave, and then you didn't check Hera Basement or Super Bunny at the time.
I thought about Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave, but I kind of just didn't want to go there. I was like, I feel like if Hookshot's over there, maybe I'd lose. Like, I mean, like a long trek over there to do that. I honestly probably shouldn't have even done Ether Tablet or Spike Cave at that point when I had all of Meridia.
I mean, it was still. I mean, like it was the route diversions between you and Adam. I swear I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Was very interesting one.
Yeah, well, there was like there was some divergence, but then it kind of put everything in an order there with the mitts to flippers to boots, you know, like all that was clearly in a line, and there's not really a way around it. So you kind of got back on the same track and then diverged a little bit from that point.
That bow location and like the major items to get you places were just like out in the open, and like these tedious little items like various suit, you know, like the tedious little things you need later on in the seed, not for early game. For this seed was everywhere, like scattered about, like bits and pieces over here, bits and pieces over there, everywhere in the seed. I noticed.
Yeah, I mean, there, like, you had Morph and Cac, and apparently a million super missiles, like, like 35 super missiles or something going into SM. And then found like 3 more packs immediately.
But almost
it was
no power bombs.
Weirdest thing. Yeah.
30 power bombs is the max I've seen. Like, you got ammo for days, and then you got no bombs.
Yeah, I guess Mirror was in Cac as well, but then like there was Hammer and Escape. I don't even think there was anything in like South Hyrule, other than more ammo, I guess. But and then Moon Pearl was in like Green Brinstar, and Bow was in Pink Brinstar, and then you had like Kraid, and you had Meridia, like, and Norfair. Like everything had something basically.
Except for X Ship, I think. That was the big
It had Morph Bombs, which I think were logical, maybe. Well, I guess we had High Jump. But Morph Bombs,
still, for getting up worst room in the game, I think the
you did a good job.
Required access to that.
I think you could... oh, yeah, I think actually getting through Screw Attack might...
Yeah.
It might be required. But worst room in the game, I think you can use High Jump.
I don't think logically you can.
Oh, okay. Maybe not.
Unless it's hard mode. Because that delayed wall jump is not... Those are never required as far as I know.
Okay. I don't even think you have to delay, but yeah, it's not. That one's actually pretty forgiving when you have High Jump. If you don't have High Jump, that's not...
It's not an option.
Well, it is an option. It's just
technically
perfect.
Yeah. Not for most people.
Yeah. So yeah, the Morph Bombs might have been required, I guess, but I wasn't too concerned about it at the time. But eventually, it was good.
It was an interesting scene to watch. Like between throughout the race though, Twitch decided to be weird and go down. So
Oh, okay.
but between that, me and him has missed like the off and on checks. Like I'd see something, then his would mess up and whatnot, or I would be behind and we would miss, items here and there, like throughout this whole race.
Unfortunate. But
I mean,
I do appreciate that you guys, stuck it out.
Oh yeah, no problem. I certainly don't mind waiting. These things happen. We just do the best we can.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, what else am I gonna do, honestly? I mean, I got time on my hands right now, but that's beside the point. I want to know what was in Waterway, since neither of you guys went back to check it. It's one of those checks that, like, could have been something useful, could not. But as the seed, like, they put all the items in the open, but they put them all in the open, but scattered across. It's like someone like opened a bag of marbles inside of a factory, and they just rolled everywhere. Like one of those big
Pretty
bag
much.
of marbles.
Yeah, at least the red cane wasn't too bad, because I think after Swamp, I was planning on just save quitting, resetting to the ship, and then like going down the climb, doing Criteria Supers, probably popping
that was a
into
bottle.
X-Ray, and then going to Waterway, and then beating SM. Like that was my plan. And then I was probably gonna go for Desert Ice Palace, I guess.
What do you think about that Ganon's big key?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
It was nice.
So nice on the path.
And Etium is in his Mother Brain fight.
And your fish room strat's paying off for those high jump boots.
I don't think I really needed them at that point. I wish I had honestly dipped Meyer before I did all of Lower Norfair. It would have saved a lot of time.
Yeah, Etium did the more traditional compass room chest before getting the high jump boots chest. So he didn't get them.
Right. I figured as much, but yeah.
It's the fact of like when you guys went into Meridia, like it was the fact of I was excited for new checks, like because everything up to that point mostly has been trash. Like health here, a bunch of health, a bunch of ammo.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we're getting new checks, and then Main Street Missiles was a heart. Red Mill was useful, but then you go to Mama Turtle, there was nothing. Right Sandpit, check tool was nothing. And then, like, it was just no progressional items anywhere to be found. Except for left Sandpit. Or did I get those backwards again?
Yeah,
it was left. Yeah.
Okay. But it's one of those things that like I don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good fast seed, just seeing progression, and just like it comes down to
execution. Is that
thank
what you're getting at?
Yeah, thank you. Like we've been talking so much, I'm just like
talking for 3 hours. It's easy to trip over our words.
Oh yeah,
I feel that.
Seeing those kind of races, those are fun to watch. But then you got these long seeds like this one, for instance, that is a little bit of both, and it comes down to routing. And that, seeing how other people think is just amazing, on how it's like, well, do you want to go for dense items, or do you want to stay in logic? You got...
Yeah, and utilizing all the tricks in the game. It sounds like what Etium did is he did a kern jump to get to Catfish.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Exactly.
So, like, that was. I thought about it, and then I was like, there's still thieves in Village of Outcasts. It's just,
So his routing,
right with the big bomb.
It made more sense for him, I think, to do that because he had already done Eastern before getting the gloves, so he didn't have the Eastern pod combo. So when he went into Dark World by Hype Cave, he swooped around through Village of Outcasts
and went up.
Oh, that's clever. Okay. Yeah.
North route, Kern jump over to Catfish and Zora.
Cool.
I mean, it was like it was interesting to watch. I'm not gonna lie, but then he got the mitts before you, which you were gonna find eventually because you were running out of checks by that time, and he got the flippers and went around that way. So it was interesting. Like you had items that he didn't because he didn't get a chance to check them yet, and he had items because you were hard coded to the logic to try to go around that way.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, I wouldn't say hard-coded. I thought about these routes, but I was just like, at that point, I had committed to Eastern Pod. Because, like, with them being the 5-6, like, you kind of usually do, like, Pyramid before Pod or something in a lot of routes. And I was like, I can just do these 5-6 crystals, and then just do the Pyramid Fairy and the Pyramid at the same time, and then do Catfish and stuff later. But then I was like, oh, but I haven't done Thieves Town, so why don't I route all this stuff down, and then I hadn't done, like, Stumpy, K45, so it was like it felt like I was kind of being very thorough, but also efficient at the same time. But then, like, with Mitts being there, it felt really bad.
Yeah.
So...
You just had to take laps around. There was really not a good way around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other question I was going to ask, I thought of, how concerned were you about dying early on, Alu and Star? You had a couple...
Yeah, there were a couple close calls, but I played it safe for the most part. Like, obviously up at Gauntlet and some of the side hoppers and stuff were hitting me. My execution was just so bad in the early part of SM. It was feeling bad. But eventually we got an E-tank somewhere. I think it was in Blueprint Star, and I was like, all right, we're good. I thought about, CWJing direct ship and stuff, but I thought, follow the logic, maybe you'll get some better movement items, and did end up getting gravity and speed, so I was like, alright, this feels good. Going direct ship without speed feels really, really rough.
Yeah, with no bombs to even do the sponge bath effectively.
Right.
Your 2 power bomb packs.
Yeah, exactly.
And Adam finishing up Super Metroid with official SRL time of 2 hours. Wow. 3 hours and 10 minutes and 51 seconds.
GG's to Etium.
And we'll get him in here and have him chit chat and hello. GG Etium.
Hey, GG's.
How do you pronounce your name?
Etium?
Okay, I was worried I was pronouncing your name wrong the whole race, and I felt so bad.
Oh, I don't really care.
So, what do you think of that seed?
It was a pretty friendly seed. Lots of health overall, and a lot of nice items. Early screw attack always makes things easier. And nothing was really in a terrible location. So, yeah, I mean, I probably just fell behind based on Super Metroid execution. That's probably most of it.
The power bomb ammo count, unable to do crate, and a few other things.
Oh yeah. Well, I went back to that pretty quickly, but that wasn't a big deal. I did forget to do back of escape for a little bit, but I don't think that really hurt me too much.
Actually,
it had the speed booster, but it didn't really lock a lot, so it wasn't a big problem.
No,
Yeah.
the only morph bomb ball, and mushroom.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to see because Alucard had gotten the speed booster early and was like, well, there's wreck ship access. And then Etium, you got the grapple beam. It's like, oh, well, there's the other wreck ship access. We might
Yeah.
both in there with different items.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think of going there till I had the speed booster, and then that brought me to full clear it, and there was nothing in there, so that was disappointing.
I had a question at the top of my head. What did you think about those mitts? Did you feel like you were behind when you got them, or the gold mitts from Zora?
I felt like I probably had them earlier than Alu, but maybe not. I don't know.
You did.
Sure did.
yeah, you did. But quite a bit.
Yeah, my strategy was just to try to be really thorough and hope that Alu skips something.
Well, here's where your guys' route diverged. I thought I'd tell you that. The way you went through Bloom. Ace, could you talk, please? I can't speak.
I don't know where you're going with this specifically.
Oh, okay. All right. You went through Blue
The
Brimstar.
Brimstar loop?
Yeah, the Brimstar split.
Okay.
You went down Red Tower. Alu resetted to ship and went from the top access from Alpha Power Bombs all the way down. Had that refill, had the thing, and got gloves before you did because you ran out of ammo.
Where was that glove? It was a high
Kraid.
It was in Kraid's lair. It was
Oh, in Kraid.
Bavaria.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, okay, I just need to go back to the ship and get more power bombs and then come back later.
See,
so-
while he was doing pod in Eastern, you were actually getting more power bombs, and you got Kraid done, and I think you went to the Dark World and chased that stuff around and went around, got your mitts, and did stuff and things.
Yeah, I just was hoping for a seed where I could do a lot of Link to the Past stuff because I'm definitely weaker in Super Metroid. So this seed definitely was it was an interesting one. Definitely gave you a lot of options for what to do.
Yes, it did. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to sit and chit chat on your ideas of the seed, we got to wrap it up. GG to you both. Congratulations, Alo, for moving on, and Adam. Hope you in your next race you have good luck. Everybody in chat, please follow these terrific runners. They are wonderful people, and they are really talented at what they do, depending on circumstances and stuff. But anyway, thank you for putting on a wonderful show.
Yep. GG, Alu.
Yeah, GG Etium. Smash the next match. Good luck.
Yeah, I'll give it my best.
And thank you guys for doing commentary and Relkin for the clicking the buttons. Tracking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun.
It's a hard job.
Oh yeah, especially when you're 2.5 hours in, you start slurring your words and lose track of things and stuff. But that's beside the point again. But that was a great race, guys. Terrific routing and execution on both parts. But I think, yeah. I can't think of
just echo everything HK said. Thanks again, the runners. Thanks everybody for watching. SpeedGaming put on the tournament, ranked 1 for the prizes on the tournament to build the hype here. For tracking, and of course HK, my co-commentator. Hopefully we did a good job entertaining you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Yep. So long.